Welcome everyone to our second interview with my brother Shmuly. I am so excited to speak again with him. In today's topic, we're going to speak about making chinuch slash the school system better in any
Yeshiva
way that
system.
yeshiva system.
The
Yeah.
school sounds like English, like the non-Jewish world also. So just say mainly yeshiva.
Well, it includes
Cheder,
elementary and
yeshiva,
yeshiva,
the Jewish school system.
the Jewish school systems, and
Yeah,
chinuch
so it
as
also applies
well.
to Cheder too.
So yeah, it's a heavy topic. It's a very general topic, and we can dive into many different parts of it. Yeah, I'm very excited. All right, so Shmuly, how if I were to put on a scale from 1 to 10, the school, the what is this, the Jewish system? No, the Jewish schools. Okay, whatever. Elementary, yeshiva. Well, the truth is, we should divide
No,
both.
just Jewish schools. Jewish school and
Jewish
yeshiva
schools.
system.
Okay, fine. Because for me, I would divide it into two. I did have a different experience, not just because of age. I had a personally different experience, but I want to ask you, what do you think if we were to judge put on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you think the school system was, I'll say it in a positive sense, was a useful time in quantity wise? Even
Quantity.
if let's say you take an average day of those 8 hours and the yeshiva average day of whatever 12 hours, how much of it, on an average day was useful?
Was it useful? Pretty much nothing.
Like a 1, a 2?
Yeah, probably a 2. I can't say
Wow.
listen, at the end of the day, it's all Torah, but so maybe just the
Is
fact
that
of Torah is the
personal?
one, but everything else.
Is that a personal opinion, or do you think this
No,
is
it's not.
the
Well, I have to
majority?
make maybe this. I should make a disclaimer. It's not because I don't like yeshiva. As in I don't like learning Torah. I'm not into that stuff. I just don't like the system itself. I don't like the way it's run. So
Mm-hmm.
don't look at it. Which is, I think it's good thing you're mentioning in the beginning. And now, guys, I just want to let you know. After all, it's good thing you're
Oh
mentioning in
yes,
the
we should
beginning.
make a disclaimer, like we put in the last video at the end, a disclaimer that we're not trying to bash the system. Better have a system than no system, but we want
But to
to
look at all the
bring,
alternatives that we have based on compared to what we have now.
yeah, to make it better. We may make awareness and possibly make better changes in the system. So again, and when you say for you, do you think it's just for you, or do you think it's okay? Obviously, there are exceptions. We're never talking about the exceptions. Always talking about the majority. Do you think the majority also waste their time in Jewish schools?
Yes.
And there are many factors, but why do you think that is?
What do I think they're wasting their time? Because the way the system is run, they don't make it in a way for the students to get involved. I mean, they pretend they're getting involved because they're, so to say, forced, and the students are, how do I say this, in they have ingrained in themselves. Is that the right word for it? They have in themselves that that's the way they grew up, and if I don't go to class, I'm gonna get in trouble, or in yeshiva you get a knas, or staying behind. Very common one, you stay behind, and it's not fun and stuff. So they just keep it simple, and I think teachers can definitely see kids that are just being there, that even though they say, yeah, they're coming there because the neshama telling them to come to class and learn Torah, but
No,
I mean, that's true. The
no,
neshama wants Torah, but to come to class and the way
yeah,
it's run, b'chlal,
yeah,
no. It's not about the Torah
absolutely,
subject. It's just about the way everything is just system. That's all we're
yeah.
going to discuss
Do you
about.
think there's a difference in that sense between elementary and yeshiva? Because in elementary, you are much more limited in what you can do, when you can do it. And in yeshiva, as the years go on, you're much more free, especially in yeshiva gdela.
Okay.
So, is there a difference between elementary yeshiva, tana, yeshiva gdela?
I think
Do
the
you
only
waste your time
difference.
more? Is it useful more in yeshiva gdela or less?
No, I think it's pretty much the same. If saying just simply you feel like the person feels like he's wasting his time, I think it's definitely different in elementary and yeshiva. Not as in the fact that it's different, but just mindsettingly, that's a word, is different, because in school you just want to be okay, I guess it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just it's taken in a different way. But yeah, I think everyone feels the same way. Just it's different because you're younger and you're older and you're studying it more deeply, especially how deep the person is, how he takes everything deeply. But I mean, I feel like I'm getting a little bit too deep into this,
No, no, no,
answering your question, but
no. That's the point.
I'm
It's
trying to explain it more a little more explainable. Yes, it's the same feeling. Everyone feels like they're wasting their time, as in I don't want to be here. I can be doing something else. But then there's also people, which probably I'm adding on to this answer, is that some people feel like I want to be here, but in a different way. So that's probably what it is. At the end of the day, it's true. Our neshama does want the Torah. We're all Yidden, but it's the
Yeah,
way it's programmed. It makes us think otherwise sometimes.
absolutely. So what is it so what system would work for the students? That the neshama, you would see it that they want it in a revealed way, not just in like, because we're Jewish. What is it in a revealed way that would make the students want it more, want to go to school more?
Make them want to go to school more is that when I think it's really really hard balance, because I would probably say straight up like make less punishments, as in like because I want to bring up something, and like I feel like I don't even know principal or teachers understand this, that when kids stay back behind because whether they didn't do well in a test, or they just came late to class, or they're missing an assignment, whatever it is, that the student doesn't gain anything from it. They pretend like it does, but it really doesn't. And for example, I don't remember exactly in Cheder, but I'm pretty sure in Cheder it's the same thing, just maybe taken a little bit differently. But in Yeshiva, I'm saying specifically in Mesivta, Zal, you're already like, whatever, you're more independent. They don't have such a thing as like you're staying behind. Worst case scenario, you'll get a knas. I'm saying like generally. But the student feels that, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I just talking about?
They should make less punishments.
No, not that part. No, okay, I was switching up from Cheder to Yeshiva.
That you're more free in Yeshiva Gdela, so you won't really have. Oh, you're saying specifically the staying over, the detention, staying after class.
Because I was trying to compare the Cheder and the Yeshiva. That when the student stays behind, as I see this a lot, that there's the same kids every single day staying behind more and more and more, and it's just like, what's the point of this? There's got to be a better way to do it, which we're going to try to discuss about that more in depth. But it's just really not doing anything. Whether you would think in Yeshiva, like, hey, you're like, your mind is like, you're more like a bacher, a chassid, you would think like a little more differently. No, there's kids that, I'm talking about specifically these days. I'm not saying this was always a thing. I'm talking about specifically these days. There's this generation that just making a kid stay behind is not going to really do much,
Mm-hmm.
And I see kids like literally hating being in class, or making fun of the teachers, especially those kids, because I see it a lot in Shir Aleph, or like when you enter middle school. Even actually, the whole middle school is like that, but mainly because first of all, Shir Aleph and Yeshiva is way different, because they have to make you feel like you can't just like, oh, now you're more independent, like you can just do whatever you want, like certain extent. But they want you to feel like, hey, these are the rules. This is what you got to do. If you don't do this, this is what happens to you. And then, so it's mainly in Shir Aleph, but it's a little bit Shir Beis. Okay, Shir Gimel also has that, but it's like, as we know, it gets a little bit less and less over the years. So, but
less of what?
Less of like restrictiveness. Like they have these rules, but not so consistent with it, or they're a little bit more relaxed with it, or it really depends. I think
It's a
that's
hard
something
age.
that's
It's
hard to
transitioning
elaborate
age
on. But
between child and teenager. So, and some are more mature than others. They're more of an adult or teenager like, and some are still like kids and until much later. So that's why it doesn't fit for everyone.
yeah, it doesn't.
It basically the same simple answer for a lot of things is not one size fits all, because we all mature at different age and we all have different personalities, and that is why we need to have like shouldn't. But I think a lot of people know that already, but unfortunately, for some weird reason, when it comes to yeshiva, it's like a norm. No, you just go to the mainstream yeshiva, and especially when there's a bad name, when you go to somewhere like, I don't know if we should say the name, which I think is amazing yeshiva, and I think more people should go. Not necessarily if it's good for them, if it's the right thing for them, but everyone should know that it is an amazing yeshiva, and it shouldn't look down upon. And in a way, I mean, I consider it better because I'll just say it's Wilkes and Jets. Well, Bachram go there, and they come in. Generally, obviously, there's always exceptions, but generally, they come in not interested, and they walk out interested in Yiddishkeit. And
Yes,
when it
yes.
comes to the mainstream yeshiva, they, even if at best they may, some of them walk in uninterested, but some of them walk in like, oh, whatever, like in the middle, and they walk out, a lot of them not interested, or like,
You're talking about the mainstream.
yeah, especially compared to the non-mainstream yeshivas. Like what is yeshiva all about? Like if you're gonna make them learn a little more, but they hate it, like you're missing the foundation.
I want to say something interesting that because in the mainstream yeshivas, if you don't have one mindset, which I think you kind of explained a little bit in one of your videos, taking away Nefesh Bahamas, the Sahara specifically,
Yeah,
that in the mainstream yeshiva, because when Bacham already have that second mindset, as in, like, they're open minded, they feel like they want to have different, like, okay, I want Torah, but I also want to have this. But I think maybe to get it more clear is that in the non-mainstream yeshiva, like you said, Wilkes-Barre and Jets, that they have that balance, that you use your open-mindedness for the good. You
yeah,
don't look at it as in, like, I have my
something bad.
it's a very
Yeah,
bad statement to say. I have my time for Hashem, and then I have my time for myself. Like, God, I give you your time, now I want time for myself. Like,
exactly.
or as in like, I'm not saying what the way Wilkes and Jets, for example, those yeshivas that the Bachrim are physically Yiddishkeit better, as in, like, the way they dress, whatever. But that's also its own, like, we shouldn't be judging them. But I'm saying, what my point is, that they're using their open mindedness for the good, not
Hmm.
as in, like, there's separation, and hopefully, which, it gets even better over time.
Yeah, we
Because
should we
non-streaming
should be
yeshivas,
using
it's
it.
not really like that.
If I can
I
use
mean,
a
I'm saying for the
different word,
mainstream yeshivas.
yeah, it's like the creativity, which is something Hashem wants us to use. It's not like you're allowed to use it. You can use it in a holy way. Hashem gave you a talent, a creativity. You have to use it, and it's something that even Bachrim who walk out of mainstream yeshivas, so to say, okay or successful, they still, a lot of them are closed-minded because that's the way the system is built. It doesn't allow you to be creative. Even at best, it's creative in the learning environment, but it's no creativity when it comes to your personality type, your talents, what you're good at.
Hmm.
Like I know someone who they took away his guitar. Like seriously, like how bad could guitar be? It's like ridiculous. Like
And
that's
was
like
he,
one of
like,
the
playing
most
something non-Jewish on
refined.
it when he was caught or something, or just the fact that he had a guitar?
No,
Okay, there's
just
two
the fact
different
they had a
aspects of it.
guitar. Just the fact they had a guitar, as far as I know. Yeah, like
Okay. Did you see this? I'm saying, not like as you saw the guitar,
it's
but
a
were you, like,
very.
in the same
I didn't. I
yeshiva?
didn't. It's a very, very, very close friend of mine. Yeah,
So you know the person and everything. So
yeah, I know him
you
very
probably heard
well.
it from him personally, right? Yeah,
Yes, I heard it from him personally.
he was in like a mainstream
Mainstream
yeshiva.
yeshiva. Yeah,
That's disgusting.
that just because it's not too, and that's
That's
just an
even crazier,
example.
because
Yeah,
you can use that for so much kedusha kumsitz.
yeah, yeah,
Guitar,
yeah, yeah.
it can be used for, well, wait, was it electric one, or was it like the classic, whatever? I'm not sure what the difference
I,
is, but
I don't think
because
it
if
was
it was
electric.
electric, I
I don't
think
think it was
we can
electric.
understand
No,
why. But
I don't think it was
it was
electric
it
because
was a
he
classic guitar. I think that's what
nowadays,
it's called.
even nowadays, he doesn't use electric. But yeah, just bringing out the point, like that's one of the most refined create outlets that you can have in yeshiva, like pretty much. And to take that away because it's not holy, it's not kedusha. Like, come on, you know.
No, no. First of all, that can't be true. Literally, like, we use guitars for kumsitz. Like, I think, I
Well, when
mean,
was
I,
the
I
last
don't
time
want
you
to
had
say
a
you're wrong,
kumsitz in
but I feel
yeshiva?
like it doesn't. Unless what you're saying, that's just mind blowing. But I just feel like that it doesn't sound so right. It's one thing you have, like, drums. Okay, maybe that's something, but, like, a guitar is so neutral. I'm saying, like, okay, theoretically you use it for bad, but, like, it's probably the safest one out of all the
Yeah,
out of all the, okay, maybe a flute or whatever. But even, like, who plays a flute?
yeah,
Honestly, I'm saying,
yeah.
okay, whatever. But from main side, like guitar, piano, drum, guitar is like the safest one.
No, it
Like, you
goes
can use it for
into
so much
what I
good
was
things
saying.
compared to bad.
That was his passion. That was his passion from his Nefesh Bahamas. That was his fire. That's what I spoke about in my video. And they took that fire away from him.
Wow.
You
And
know.
how was his reaction after? Did he learn his lesson, or did he take it in the wrong? Like,
So
was he more upset after?
I don't recall exactly his response then, but based on the way I know his journey and the way he is now, I think he kind of, like they say, not off the derech, but on his own way. He's definitely someone very unique. I really want to say who it is, but like he's a great
No,
person.
no, you don't. It's not important. Oh, wait, why is it,
Yeah,
like, someone famous?
he's kind of famous, yeah. And I probably maybe interview him one day. I would love to do that. But he, based on like he kind of went on his own way. Not, I mean, even now he's not conventional, but definitely he wasn't conventional um, several years ago. And I think it's partially because the way he was treated in yeshiva that he took away his guitar and stuff. But then he realized that you can still have a meaningful relationship. One of the things I really want to mention, which comes to mind now, which is sort of related to what we're talking about, is that it could be he was thinking the same thing. Where it's kind of a big statement, but we're not perfect, and okay, I'll make it a drop off topic, but like the non-Jews have to look at us Jews as a role model, but they need to remember that just as we are Jewish, we have a Jewish soul, but we also are human, and my point is more that we're not perfect. So like I think I said last video or something, I remember talking to you about it, where a role model is not someone who's perfect. It's someone who's trying to do his best. So that applies to Jews. The Jews were trying to do our best. So now let's take that a step deeper. In Chabad, or in the system of Chabad, we're all trying to do our best. The Yeshiva is trying to do its best, right? It has good intentions, but it's not perfect. So when we're young, still in Yeshiva, at least I probably thought about it in the beginning, or whatever. I mean, right away I realized it's not the case, where just because Yeshiva is my role model and they're not perfect doesn't mean that's what they represent. Judaism is still a perfect, Hashem is perfect and the Rebbe is perfect, and that's that I basically I'm looking for security in the Yeshiva. And Yeshiva is not giving me security because there's so many faults in it. But that doesn't take away, and it's like, let's say, for example, they took away my guitar. Like, what is this? My guitar is supposed to be used. Like, I can use that for Kedusha. That could help me in Yeshiva. What's going on over here? Is this Judaism?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. I mean, the Yeshiva is not perfect. They could make faults. But that, basically, we have to differentiate between the system and Judaism and Chabad specifically, and the Rebbe. The only perfect Chabad chassid is the Rebbe. Like, I'm saying perfect. Everyone else has some faults.
I don't know, Chabad Chassid, I mean, you're saying
Well, the
because like the
Rebbe
Frierdiker
was
Rebbe's
the chassid
Chassid.
of the
I was going to
Frierdiker
say
Rebbe.
more like Chabad person.
Like what we say, the Rebbe was the biggest chassid of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and he even expressed that throughout his Nesius. So I'm just bringing out that, pretty much said what I wanted to say. So I think what he realized also was possibly that, and I realized this also, that we have to differentiate between the system, which did faults to us, and Hashem, and therefore we can find our relationship with Hashem with the Rebbe in a non-conventional way. Does that make sense? Fine.
Yeah.
Pretty deep stuff.
What's the next question you have for me, or the next? Because I think you mentioned what you want to end it off with that subject. So
yeah. So there's a lot of things, I guess. So let's like zoom in to what we go through. I want to separate again between elementary and yeshiva, and also, I mean, we did mention chinuch in general. Maybe I guess after, maybe it'll be a separate topic actually, because it could be a lot. Like, I'm saying, there's chinuch there's also chinuch outside of yeshiva. It's not, I mean, there's the school systems, and then there's chinuch the way parents chinuch, or the way the community is mechanech, but
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to make it, more.
Maybe that'll be like a part 2 of the chinuch interview.
So let's start from bottom up. So you go into elementary, and what do they have? They have tests to see if you're a good student. What do you think about tests?
Wait, what do you mean by elementary?
Is that a good?
Maybe. Wait, you want to get to general topic about like the system, or like maybe something more specific you want to ask, or you want to just?
Well, I mean,
because you were saying specific about elementary, and there's like, unless you want to just say
there's the specific topic about tests. What do you think about that?
The test. I mean, I feels like I might give my own opinion, but I think this is a very general opinion that the tests are. I believe that if a person, I think maybe I'll say it even in short, just to get straight to the point, because I think everyone can understand an opinion without even having to say it. That if you want to make a test, it has to be like bepashtus between But pashtus between the student and sometimes and like theoretically the teacher also. I mean, he's the one like grading the test. But it shouldn't be that the parents who see the test and they see it's something wrong, that something's wrong with the child.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just needs to be kept simple. That it needs to be just between the student, because they say that like, I think it's funny because if there's actually one set reason why there's a test, they would say it. But I feel like every time they say, oh, it's supposed to it keeps you more focused in learning, and then they say we're not trying to judge you, we're trying to make sure you actually know the material. Oh, it's for yourself, but it's really for myself. Then why is everyone getting involved? Like of course, like we have to elaborate that we understand why it's being told to the parents. And I think what's even worse is that it's one thing that you have report cards, but I know, like, I think it was in Yeshiva, or maybe I think it was maybe 8th grade. The test, I think even in some yeshivas, my second yeshiva that I was trying in, they show the parents every single test, if not, like, I don't know, like the weekly grade, and I'm like, why? Like, okay, well, actually, pretty much like every test, because like you usually have like one test per week, like Gemara test, Chumash test, whatever it is that whichever level you're in, like 8th grade or yeshiva, whatever, it depends which grade you're in, but. Depending how much test, like yeshiva, you mainly just have a Gemara test, maybe a halacha test also. But like I'm saying, I just don't like how tests are being spread around all over the place. First of all, I don't think it's the best way. I think it's maybe something that's kept more simple. Why there's tests, but I don't believe tests is the best way to decide whether a student knows something or not. I think it's just a fact. It's really just a fact.
So what is the best way to know?
I think that's a difficult part, because that's why. We would just simply say don't make a test, but like,
what is the point of a test? What is the main point of a test?
What is the main point of a test? Is to know if is for the student himself to know, and the teacher and whatever, the parents also are supposed to know if the student knows the material well.
And therefore what?
What do you mean therefore what?
Like, therefore, if he gets a good grade, therefore what's going to happen?
It means he's participating in class.
He got his grade. It's good or bad. Now what?
You got it. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's simple as it is. So there's two aspects of looking at it. There's the part where the student is participating in class, and then there's the fact of knowing that this kid is smart, which I think is also its own issue in the test, is that there's kids that somehow they're just already very smart, so they just do well. So actually, no, let me make it more clear. I'm trying to remember exactly how would I explain it. Is that there's people that are smart, but they have a hard time remembering, and then there's kids that are just they're pretty average, but they remember pretty well, which I think that's a little bit of a weirder case, but it is a thing. And like, do they just pass tests? Obviously, okay. There's also. I mean, do you agree with that? Something you want to elaborate on that?
No, I just said you're stating facts. So I'm saying, therefore, what? Like, you got your grade on the test, and now what?
What do you mean? It seems if you know the material.
So the point of test is encouraging that you know the material better.
It's really not a deep concept. Like, I know, like a test itself is a very controversial. Like, it's actually shouldn't be controversial, but it's like a very controversial like topic, which it is accepted like that. But it's really not a deep concept. I'm saying, like, you can say facts or say something that's like that's not true. But I mean, we're trying to say facts over here. We're not trying to like also based on experience.
Right.
Deep understanding of tests. I'm saying, like, you're saying, like, therefore what? Anything could be therefore what? Like, for tests, yeah. I mean, it just means you know the material well.
Okay, so tests are good. We should have tests.
No, but every mind works differently. That's the issue. If all our minds work the same way, then I think we can get away with just having tests. Since all our minds don't work the same.
And
what do you mean? There's so, you know how many times kids say during a test, and I think Yeshiva are lying even less, whatever, but saying something's like, oh, I remember we learned this, but I don't remember the answer. If you actually so that means I didn't learn it. That means if I remember something, but so if you got a 60 on your test, it means you didn't know the other 40% of the questions. Like, did you not participate in the 40% of the questions? There are questions. Okay, we're not like dumb. Like, we're gonna remember some question on the test. If you pretty much focus on average, you're gonna remember at least probably 2 or 3 questions, 4 or whatever, depending on the average. Let's just say average test is 10 questions. You're gonna remember 3 or 4 questions if you pretty much focus overall. But to say that, oh, the 70 other percent, which is basically what a report card is, 70%, you, for example, you didn't know, maybe keep it more like relaxed at 40%, 30% you didn't know rest. Like, did you not focus that day or something? It's just, no, I haven't remembered this material. Some parts I don't. And kids say so often that I I pasha dorm, and yeshiva, it's actually said more seriously. And I see Bacham getting emotional about it, especially when it comes to finals or who knows what midterms. Like there's like, I would have known this, but I don't remember it. I just pasha don't remember. I remember learning about it, but I don't remember the exact answer.
So what's the solution?
What's
What
the
do you think the
solution?
solution is?
So maybe you want to give your opinion about it first, because I'm like, I don't want to make it sound like the fact that I'm saying something and then I don't know what this thing is otherwise is like, oh, that's like, why even speaking in the first place? But it's also, first of all, we're
I
bringing
want to hear
awareness
your
concept,
opinion.
which is what we're doing right now is awareness. And then afterwards, right now we're trying to make a solution, which I think I want to maybe
Well,
hear what you have to say first.
we're also just going with the flow. I want to
No,
hear
it's
what
true,
you
but I'm
think.
saying, like,
If you
don't
want
look
to
at
hear
it
my
as like,
opinion
oh, the
first,
fact that we
yeah,
don't see a solution means that why did you even bring the awareness in the first place? Like, at least say something and make a solution.
no. If the people should know that there's an issue with
No, because
with
I'm just
tests or
saying that
just
because I don't really have on top of my head. That's why I want to hear what you have to say first. Maybe I can think of as like solution otherwise.
okay. So what I think about tests is that, well, first of all, I've heard that the Rebbe said you should have tests. Now, I didn't see the
Yeah, so
source for
maybe
it,
okay.
so that's unfortunate, because it's not just seeing the source; it's also seeing what matters very much is the wording and the context. I just know vaguely. I've always heard, because that's what they said. Tell you in yeshiva. The Rebbe said you should have tests, and you should be real chassid. You have tests. Okay, fine. But on a more practical psychological level, um, test is a klipas naga, could be used for a good thing. I believe, I don't know what percentage.
What do you mean by that? Maybe you want to like explain that. What do you mean it could
Hey,
be like technically
maybe I could be a little personal if it makes some more sense. Personally, for me, I did well on most of my tests, but I still think it was terrible. Why? So let's see if I can enumerate everything that I have in mind. Even for someone like me, which I did good at my tests, but growing up, it took me until I left yeshiva, all the school system from elementary till yeshiva dela, through yeshiva dela, I thought, and not just, it was both thought and I wanted to do that because, let me explain. So I thought the best student is someone who knows what's going on in class. And then
Yeah.
also there was a feeling to that even if I knew it was wrong, that the best student is not someone who knows everything. The best student is other factors also. But because there's a social pressure, both from this school and from your parents, community, and even go as far as shidduchim, which was totally baloney. It would say it affects your shidduchim, which is that's
Oh my
not
gosh,
a
yes.
yeah, it's not a way to encourage to do better on the test. So that was very wrong. So I
No, I
am.
think mainly only parents say that. Yeshiva, they wouldn't really say that. But yeah,
Yep,
but what you're
Yeshiva
saying is a
said
true
that. No,
point.
Yeshiva said that. Yeah,
They told
yeah,
you that.
yeah.
Mainstream
Yeshiva said
yeshiva
that.
or like the
Yeah,
local yeshiva we were
Yeshiva
both in?
says that the shadchanim and the parents check your report card. Okay,
Oh, I
so
think I heard that before. I know the parents say that, but like yeah, it could be yeshivas. I'm not saying it's not true. I just trying to remember, but yeah, I think
right.
yeah, that's true.
So I hope I can mention everything so we get a clear picture on all the ingredients. So my point is that it seems like the stress in not literally stress, the point of the test, the point of the school system is to no. I'll say even more. It's not just to know. The good student is not just someone who knows the material. A good student is someone who's able to pass his test without the teacher and the parents knowing how he passed the test. Do you hear what I said? I didn't just say he knows the knowledge, which even that is not even good enough. Even if a student is just going through yeshiva and he knows everything, that's not called a good student. I'm saying even more than that. Not because with special, not because of oral tests you can't really get away with it, but mostly 95% of tests throughout the whole schools, it's written. And when it comes to written, okay, you can literally cheat. I'm not even talking about cheating. I'm talking about like knowing tricks where the style of the teacher. He doesn't really ask this, so just only study that part and only do it. It's all about it's also and this is both in quantity and in quality. That in quantity, obviously, you're not going to end up learning everything. You're only going to want to learn the parts that have to do with the test. And in quality is that your whole mindset is not forget about becoming a better person. If anything, you're basically, the school is educating you in a way where you want to live life in a way where, how can I get out of this? How can I just show them my best performance, and without anyone knowing? And that is a good student. That is terrible. That I'm saying is the way they do it, and I just explained it in a very deep way why it's
You did, because I
very,
didn't
very
fully
bad.
cop what you said.
What?
I didn't fully understand what you said.
That the whole, I was trying to say it in short, that
I guess, yeah.
the whole point, the push, the drive for tests as what makes you a good student is someone who's able to pass the test without the parents and teachers knowing how you pass the test. Period. Does that make sense?
You said that the parents and teachers shouldn't know how you pass the test?
Basically, it
Or
doesn't
how you're
matter how
doing
you
on the
pass.
test, you mean?
You got 100.
Okay.
Even if, let's say, it can go. Even if, let's say, like, the teacher made a mistake and he made a mistake, he gave you a check and it was really an X. It's like, I don't care. I mean, I'm good. I got a check. It's good. Like, it's just, the point is that, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I see. You're getting into the technical issues of the test. You're not going to, like, briefly, like, test and niche good. Like, you're going technical.
I'm
You're
going
saying
deep.
that, like, the mistakes that can be made in the test, and
No.
I think that's.
I'm going. No. That is just one tiny example. I'm going deep. So maybe I try to explain it from a different angle or different words. Let's try this again. The school system makes it seem that a good student is someone who passes his test.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't matter how you pass the test. You pass the test.
Oh,
That's
yes. Yeah. Now that you said that, I savor the people in the back. Yeah, I know. Not sure.
What?
No, it's an expression. It means, like, what you said is like you're basically, like, spitting fast. You're saying fast, like, savor the people in the back that don't understand you. No, but you said it very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Now
mean,
that you said it like that, I understand you fully. Yeah.
great. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy I tried a different words. But I wanted to explain it deeper and whatever. I guess we could hear the recording. Well,
What?
people. I explained it deeper. Should I try again to explain it what I mean by that? Now that you know briefly what I was. Now that you briefly understood me, do you want me to go deeper again?
Like, something else you want to say?
No.
Or
Okay.
repeat what
I'll
you
try to
said.
say it again deeper. So what I just said is that a good student is someone who's able to pass his test. Why is that a bad thing? Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Is because that has nothing to do with your character as a person, as a mensch, and as a chassid, and also um, you also how much you're learning. You don't care about the actual learning. You just care about passing the test, and also and the quality of your learning and the quantity. You're not going to be learning the whole thing. You just want to learn what's on the test. And also, this is a deep part. I mean, it's deep, but it's not complicated. I think it's relatively simple. Is that you're educating yourself to live life in a way where
That's structured to one
what
point. No, I'm sorry. Maybe you're saying something else.
you're educating yourself to live life in a way where I just want to get myself out of obligations, to be Yitzhak, to get it over
Yes.
with, and I don't really care about this, but I have to do it, and I'm going to try all these tricks or even cheating. There's a lot of cheating we know that goes on, and if it was in a good system, the child wouldn't want to cheat. Like what
Yeah.
are we
If you
teaching?
believe this is actually, like, for good, like good, not like what you just said, but like good, like, then yeah. Especially if
No.
it's actually, like what I said, for his own personal benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he actually feels like that, which I think is a little difficult to do. Which is, like, they don't even. That's why they don't really care about where the test goes to, because they understand that you yourself don't really feel the test. You don't feel it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll send to the principal, the teacher,
Yeah.
and what's even worse when the principal gets involved, because the principal Pasha doesn't really know what's going on.
Oh
The
yeah.
parents also.
Yeah.
Like the principal
No,
comes to you and he's like, "Oh, I
I
heard
only
you
said
didn't pass this month's test or whatever." It's like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened?
he doesn't know unless he really cares. There could be our principals that do care, but um now I only
Yeah,
said
they assume you're not focusing in
why
class and oh, who knows what.
yeah. I only
They
said
assume
why
negative, basically.
what?
They assume negative, but yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
It shouldn't assume negative either of it, but not to lose a train of thought.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I only said why the test the way it is now is bad. Now, why? How could it be a good thing? Is that it's all about the approach of the teachers and the parents. If when a test is a good thing because it motivates you to do good, but the motivation shouldn't come out of fear, which that's the way it is now. And you see how
Yes.
even like I if the tests were really a good way, the way they do it now, you wouldn't be having kids being emotional that they didn't know certain parts. Of course, they shouldn't not care about the test, but to to have it out of fear, to have it out of punishment that you didn't do well, to have it out of embarrassment and all these things, that is definitely not good. It should be a motivator to do better. And even if you don't know all the answers, that should like at the very least crush you in a way that I want to do better, not crush you like
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
depressed. Not crush you like depressed, like oh I'm a loser and all that. It should
And
crush
that's
you
what they
like
want you
oh
to
next
think.
time I'll do
Which
better.
doesn't happen like that. They
What?
want you to think that if you didn't pass the test, or even the saying you could, okay, maybe it could have got to more teachers. Some teachers say, oh, whatever. The main thing is that you pass the test. That's what you should think about. But you should
Mhm.
be thinking to such an extent that I was here the whole classes. I should have been focusing, and even if I was focusing, how do they not know such answers? You should
Yeah.
actually be feeling. But when someone feels it, which we should mention, is that people do feel it, but they feel in the
Mhm.
wrong way. They feel like,
Mhm.
oh no, my parents is gonna kill me.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
no,
wrong.
the
That's wrong.
teacher's gonna make me.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
That is not
principal,
supposed to
what he's
be.
gonna do? Kick
If
me
the
out,
teachers,
detention, redo the
if the
test, stay
principal,
behind.
yeah, the teachers and the principal and the parents all are accepting and try to instead of you know like as they say it's when you do something wrong instead of saying like oh I hope my parents don't find out, instead be like oh I did something wrong, I want to go to my parents for safety or go to my educator for safety. Like you're not meant to be you're still like you're not an adult yet and you're still like I mean, by the way, this could also apply to adults. This whole idea of concept of test. I mean, you can adults who are not whoever's not in the school system watching this. I mean, this could be for your kids or you should know, but you can refine these concepts that could also apply to out of the school system. But yeah, there shouldn't be as if you're not an adult yet, you need to be in a safe place. And failing a test should only mean that you go to your teacher and the teacher should be like, oh, like if you fail a test, you need more security, more help, more rewards, more attention, more care, right?
And I feel like sometimes they even hate it, even though they say, yeah, we're gonna try to help you better, but after it doesn't work the first time, which I kind of experienced that, it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to help
Yeah,
you, or like,
it's stupid.
you know.
If you the macabre don't feel like it's helping you, then they're at wrong. They have to change something.
Yeah.
And you should feel safe to reach out for help. Or like I failed, okay, now like who can help me? Not like you're all on your own, it's your fault, you did wrong and I don't know what to do and I'm gonna get punished and it's not even helping me. I don't know, this whole thing is you know no wonder we're stressed
Yeah,
out.
but I know, but I think what you're saying is what people actually feel. But like I said before, it's taken in a negative way, as in not for their personal benefit. Like, how do I know do better? I want to do better. But it's more like I said, the parents gonna get involved, and the principal and the teacher are gonna punish me, make me redo the test. I don't care about this, and it's like really annoying. So
Yeah, and you
you
don't even
know,
care about that.
yeah, exactly. So for
You
all
don't
these
even know
people
why
that are
you're
saying,
doing
"Oh,
it,
we
you're
need
stuck.
tests," well, what about all these aspects that come with the test to it? You can't just say there's a test, you fail, you pass, and then move on in life. Like there's so many aspects to it. Like because what I wanted to say before when you asked me what's the solution, I wanted to say simply there shouldn't be any tests. There shouldn't be
Hmm.
because, like I said, how are you supposed to find the right balance?
So
And there's students that
mhm.
say, and I see it more in yeshiva. Students say this. They say if we wouldn't have a test, I would be focusing so much. I would actually be willing to listen because I feel more relaxed. Okay, they don't say it the way I'm saying it, but like what
Yeah.
I can understand because I feel like this personally, and a lot of other people do. that they feel like they're more relaxed. They don't,
Mhm.
they don't feel pressured. Oh, I only have to remember certain materials. And even a more annoying part, especially like, in Yeshiva, when you learn a lot of Rashi Taisvis, in Gemara, and the teacher's like, okay, we're gonna add a Mefirish, we're gonna add a Taisvis. Like, no, I don't want Taisvis. I want less for my test. But think about it. If a student really should be feeling that, then why a student should be feeling that this is for my personal benefit, no matter no matter how much I have for my test? Why does the student always want less? Why they say that? It's not a hidden thing. I'm not saying like, oh, some people do this. No, a lot of people say that. They say, I mean, maybe especially when you're in the lower class, higher class. That's the sad part. People just accept it because they're already pretty much smarter overall. So like, whatever, they'll figure it out. Which I think is even worse because I see kids from the higher class when they fail a test, like they're like, whatever it is, what it is. Maybe getting a little bit, I'm getting a little bit technical in certain parts. I should be focusing only on one part, but they feel like that, and I feel this also, that if there wouldn't be tests, we'd be focusing a lot more. There would be, and they wouldn't be like, oh, I want less on my test. Oh, I like, they're not going to think like that. And I feel like, even when students say that in front of the class, sometimes they even have it where like half the students say at the same time, like before a midterm or like a big test or whatever, even a regular test. The teacher, like, he doesn't care. He partially ignores the fact that students say that. Or sometimes the teachers are pro-test, which usually they are. They're going to be like, it's very personal. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're going to learn better without a test? You're going to know the material without the test? Like, that doesn't process in our heads.
Yeah.
And like, seriously? Like, we're telling you what we want. You want us to educate. You want us to feel better. First of all, we always told them, I think we even said to an extent, we're like, try it for a week. Try it for a month. If it's not going to work, then maybe you're right. But if you see, but then it's also technical because you might think that, but that's also a wrong way to look at it, because I was looking a little bit deeper than I think what other students would say, is that because if you only do it for 1 week or 1 month, you're going to badafka not learn for 1 week or 1 month, because only for 1 month. So that means later, because I'll right now take the advantage that it's only for 1 month. And then whatever, the rest of the year, I'll take it more seriously because I got to do what I got to do to make sure my parents are happy for me or I don't get in trouble, So, yeah, it's a very big, there's a lot of not good aspects about
So you
this.
believe it shouldn't be test?
Yeah, I think to keep it simple, really, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think if kids really do need a test, make a separate class for them. Seriously. I think the school year, okay, you have to have a higher and lower class. It's just because forget about the test aspect. Now we're just going to the aspect that kids just need like slower time. Like, kids can't just learn a whole like 5 Mefarsh in 1 week. Some kids only need
That's
one
why there's
Mefarsh
different
or
levels.
maybe just a few Taisvis. So, but I'm saying it should be that, maybe because it's more a technical issue, but it should be, there shouldn't be tests. And they see after Tishrei, they see like, couples in like 2 or 3 months in the school year, and they see whatever Shiva year, and they see that you need tests. Then okay, if that's what you think is better for me, then I guess we gotta try that out too. But why lechatchila should there be tests? If kids are honestly saying, okay, maybe that's the point. Teachers think they're not honest; they just want to get rid of it. They're like, oh, if I convince the teacher that I don't need tests, I'll get advantage, because how is he gonna know I'm doing well if he don't have a test? So that's why teachers don't even bother. They think that if they're gonna argue with the student, it's not gonna go anywhere. But the students are willing to argue. The teachers are not. That's what I'm saying. Is this really taken into serious consideration? Why aren't these questions asked? And when they say that, and when the school or the teachers, or when they ask for the students' feedback, they don't want to hear this feedback. They want to hear like, I don't know, maybe like
one-way conversation,
maybe less of something. But to not have something is like, well, we can't not have something. We can't not have a test. We can't not have worksheets. We got to do that. If you want maybe a little bit less, or feel like I personally need something else, so yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. So I think to make it in short, there's less benefits of tests than there is of more, or there's more negative effects from the test than there is positive. I would probably put it more like an 80-20 situation, like 80 negative, 20% positive. I'm sorry, that sounds like a lot, but
what about this? What about this? If, let's say, because it could be because you have, I mean, and again, I also believe that the way tests were done in my days, like I explained, was very wrong, and I got the whole wrong approach feeling. But you also definitely had you had only a bad experience with tests, so it could be like it's hard to see the positive. But again, I'm also kind of, because I know the Rebbe said Yeshiva should have tests, and again, I didn't see the context of the wording, but also logically, how about if, let's say, I mean, you could still understand it now, but it's easy because you had a bad experience. It's hard to see it. But imagine if you were told that the test is for you, and to the point, and you know what? It could be even to the point you don't have to take the test. It's for you, and to the point where even the teacher and the parents have no idea what you got in the test, but you can see yourself. It's just for you. Would you then
Yes, yes.
want to take a test?
I think that the only thing the parents should know. I don't think the parents should know nothing. They're paying a lot of money, regardless of whether they're paying or not. I'm saying they should know. But what I think the parents should know is the honest ones, like participation. How often you coming on time to class? Because that will know generally. Especially like participation, it's very important to see. Like if
Yeah,
you're focusing 20%, they're
yeah,
assuming if you get a test, you're probably not going to
that is,
care. Or even
yeah,
if you do care, it sort of because of I'm scared of the parents and teachers and principal, you're gonna barely get anything, whether you like it or not. You just barely
yeah.
participated.
Why
But
is
if you see
there that
participation, coming on
itself?
time to
Yeah.
class, and other things, whatever, basically anything besides tests, you know. Also, which I
I
think,
believe this whole
yeah, whatever,
concept of
yeah.
fear of teachers and principal and parents is so off. Like it should be like erased. The child, the student, even if he's in yeshiva Dela even, should feel safe. I'm repeating myself kind of just in different words because it needs to be a 180. Like it seems like across the board, all students, the more some more than others, feel this fear from either parents, teachers, principals, or all three of them. Like why? Or even like I said, shidduchim, all this. Why? Be like it should be that no, they're there to help me, and even if I fail, and on the contrary, if I fail, they'll be there even more for me. Now I know, like some people will say that people take advantage of that, but like,
Instead of saying to be more for you, they'll be on top of you more, as in like a negative way. So it's not like, I mean, very
no, but
few
it should.
times they'll like ignore you, but I'm saying they'll look at it as like, oh, we got to focus on you more because you're not passing
But
those
that should
tests.
be
You're not
beautiful
focusing.
in a good way. Is it a good
No,
way?
it should. No, so I'm saying these things are happening, but it's taken in such a negative way, which is important to notice. Not saying that, oh, Nebach the kids or Nebach like, you should whatever be a better kid. Like, no,
Yeah,
you're making him react
they
like that
do give
because
them
of
more
these things.
attention
It's not him.
negative way.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's really sad. There was another thing you mentioned right before I said that.
What, report cards?
Um,
I was saying something about report card, but then I let you finish your sentence. I was like, that's another subject.
no, say about report cards.
No, I was gonna say simply that to like I don't remember exactly. I don't have a report card in front of me to remember what it shows in a report card. Also, some yeshivas are even more deep. Like when I tried out a different yeshiva, they like literally put like everything. Like I don't remember exactly what was the difference, but it was a lot more detailed. And I'm like, I mean, I wasn't doing bad, but I was just like, wow, like you show me the details because it's a digital thing. It's like since everything's digital, and I was like, whoa, that is really detailed. Like I thought like my local yeshiva was bad. When I tried this different yeshiva, it was really detailed. I was like, for kids that do bad, it's like, I mean, it's great. First of all, the yeshiva was a little bit more like a Nebuch yeshiva. Like it wasn't so like it wasn't mainstream, but also like wasn't like relaxed. It was like relaxed, but like whatever. It's just also its own like topic. I don't know if I want to bring it up, but it wasn't a good yeshiva. But
Can
if
you
we bring up
explain
subject about
can you
report cards,
explain what does it mean that it was so detailed and digital? What did that look like?
no, I just digital because there's a lot. I don't remember exactly. I'll probably look it up on my parents' phone, but like because they probably have it. Actually, I don't think they have it because it's like probably like old and it doesn't get saved for a long time. But it's
So
it
what
was
are you
really
bringing
detailed.
out from this?
No, so what I'm saying, there's too much details for parents to be knowing. Like I thought when I grew up with cheder and yeshiva,
Why?
there's like
Why is that a
I'm
problem?
telling you, if I showed you what it was, I'm not saying the audience necessarily, but even the audience honestly, but I'm saying you, Levi, if I show you, you would be like, whoa, that's a lot. That's like detailed, should be detailed. Like I, I'm saying whatever. I don't think there was more subjects in there. I think it was just. I mean, there was a little bit few more subjects maybe, but like the detail of the subject was like insane. I don't remember exactly what it was. I mean,
Like
but what I'm
if
what
you
I'm
were to say
saying
how
to
many boxes were there?
it wasn't even boxed. It was like I don't know. It was probably like I know why it was more detailed because it shows the everyday progress, not like the weekly or every
What?
month, every 2 months progress.
You're talking about like
Everyday
what,
progress.
200 days.
Like they showed every time you came to class that day, if you were absent, the timing of I think you went to sleep at night, if you're cooperating with the teachers or the dorm counselor and the principal and the davening and this and that and tests, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like overall, it's pretty good. I can't say I'm perfect. I'm not trying to
Well,
say like I'm
yeah,
humble or whatever, but I like. But still, if I was like, I mean, the students probably don't really care as much because those students are anyways just like not good kids anyways in general. So that whatever, that's its own situation. But what I'm saying in short that they should know very basically, which I think another issue which is also posted on report cards is the davening. Why is davening being told to the parents? Forget about tests. Okay, that's a physical thing. Davening is such a spiritual thing. Why is this being noted to the parents? Maybe the only reason why I'm thinking to be noted to the parents is because maybe something at home is going on that if you see a kid's getting a dot minus or a Gimel Dalet in their report card, or maybe for the English audience is like might be like what like 70. How would you say it?
a
Like
Gimel is in the 70s.
yeah, like 70, 60. No, but it's like a little weird because for davening you always see in the Hebrew. So I'm trying to describe it. How would it be in English? As in like I'm saying like numbers, whatever. But I'm saying the only reason why I can think of it is because maybe something at home is affecting the student for his davening. But I don't understand why is the davening being told to the to the parents.
Let's take a
How do
step
you
back,
even grade a
Shmuly.
davening,
Why?
first of
What's
all?
the
How can you
problem?
grade a davening? That's just retarded. No?
Yeah, that is that. Also, I was
You
wondering
can
that.
good, very, very little, but it's one thing like you're someone personal to the student, but if you just see a kid like davening like you know, I remember that I don't know what it was. Maybe I was like davening really slow or something. Like I had a hard time davening fast when I was younger, like in middle school when you start like davening with a minion. I think for a lot of the haters it's like that. And I was davening slow. Like I just like literally couldn't daven faster. And I used to get like in trouble for coming late because I had a hard time davening fast. Yeah,
Hmm.
I know. Yeah, I had a hard time downing. I always try. I'm not like a holy man down in Baruchas and like I don't care
Yeah,
about class. I was actually trying my hardest. I mean, I
yeah.
didn't really have other mind to think about, but I'm saying I tried my hardest. I'm trying to daven fast. I just couldn't. I
Hmm.
just couldn't daven faster, and I used to get in trouble for that. I used to tell my teacher that he didn't care. That's what really bothered me. It's one thing that like I tell my teacher I have this issue, and he's like, okay, fine, just come whenever you can. It's like he didn't care. I come late. That's the you come late. There's no exceptions unless you have like an emergency. Who knows what? There's no exception for you.
Yeah,
Pasha, no exception.
yeah.
It's one thing you went to the bathroom right before class and that's your issue because you should have went 5 minutes earlier. But I'm telling you what my issue is. He didn't really care. Maybe because I never spoke about it. I never really spoke about it with him personally, as in like one-on-one talk. But I told him like I have an issue with davening. I'm sorry if I'm elaborating a little bit too much on a simple subject, but I used to get in trouble for him. My davening, it's like I think it was there was even like two different parts of davening. I think it was like the davening and like something else besides the fact of coming on time to davening, but it was something else I think was mentioned. Like I don't know. I remember one of them wasn't good. It was like really annoying.
There's a certain part of davening.
No. A certain part of the report card. I don't remember what it was exactly. It could be. It could be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it could be there was only two parts. They're just coming on time and the davening itself. Um,
Oh, to the wait to davening. They're saying there's two parts of davening. There's coming on time to davening and the davening itself. Wait, so
yeah, no. So coming on time to
they gave
davening
you a
makes
lower
sense, but
mark.
it's so weird that the
They gave
davening
you a lower
itself.
mark because
The
you were
what?
davening too slow.
No. I don't think so. Oh, I remember. Oh, this is what it was. In the sometime I'm not sure what other schools do, but no, I think pretty much every yeshiva school does this. That they have comments in the report card section. And I think they mentioned that they said, oh, like the student davens pretty well, but he needs to start catching up with the minion, or he needs to start coming. He can't affect his class or something like that. And I was like, seriously, like this is how God made me. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, do you assume I'm not trying? That's disgusting.
Hmm.
That's disgusting. And I remember I told my parents this, and I was like, I just couldn't. I think they eventually understood me, but it was like I mean, they weren't angry at me. It was just like, what does it mean? Like you're not trying or whatever. Like it wasn't a heated conversation, but I'm saying for myself, between me and the teacher, remember, there's even like a davening teacher too to make sure everyone's participating. Make sure there's no one talking during davening or like someone needs a little bit of a push to daven. But like to judge me how I like my davening and to leave such a comment like that, like it was in my control. Did you even come to ask me why I'm having this issue? Did you ask me do you have an
Yeah,
issue? Are you
that's a
davening
problem.
purposely slow? I'm like, no.
They
You
don't
know,
care.
the thing is, though, what I just said might not apply to a lot of people because people just daven really fast or they just whatever, especially in middle school. But I'm
But the
saying there
idea
could be some people that what?
the idea of any issue you have, this school doesn't care. It's like what matters to them is coming on time. I don't care what the excuse is, and what matters to them is getting 100 on the test. Nothing else
Yeah,
matters.
exactly. And what's even worse is that that for example, let's say when it comes to the davening part, okay, maybe because I don't remember exactly. So I don't want to say what I don't remember, but I remember generally it wasn't like it didn't start off so good. Like when like what was it? My parents when they found out that the like davening was like, what, you davening slower? Like what's the issue? As in like maybe they did understand me, but I'm saying what was exactly that you were saying before you wanted to speak about?
I It's more of a general thing of
Basically,
you
in
keep
short,
mentioning.
the parents don't know the real picture. Plus, the teacher
y-
also, depending what
So
it is, but the parents don't know
yes, well,
the real picture, which is why
it,
report cards are definitely not designed properly. And if you are gonna make a report card, which I think there should be, I think we can all agree it should be some sort of report card. Only put very simple: participant, grading, maybe coming on time to class, understanding the student, unless something very terrible, you can write something in the comments. It shouldn't be something. It shouldn't be a grade. It should be a comment. It shouldn't be a grade when it comes to like, tests. That's just why I said it shouldn't be tests at all because it's very, very controversial and very, very taken in the wrong way. But if you want to write something, okay, so usually they write comments, but it should be only in comments. It shouldn't, because I feel like when they write in comments, they're being honest. So overall, or at least they try to say in a positive way, but still they have to bring up some specific issue which they cannot write that in like in the report card grade. They have to write as a comment. But yeah, I think report cards need to be kept very simple. It shouldn't be detailed, and especially I don't think tests should be on there. I like I said, if they want to write in the comments and listen, the student might not be doing so well, but he's trying his effort, and that's the main thing. That's all. That's all the teacher should be saying. If that's really the honest picture. I think I just said it like I think I just said it the punchline.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
the
is
right
the
word for it in
punchline.
this case. But yeah, I push it just like yeah, I spitted it out like
But
just straight out. Like if you're actually trying,
that
say
in
in the
itself,
comments. Don't write it as a grade as like Gimel minus. Your student might not be doing so well, but but whatever. That's all it's really need to be said. And if it's actually having issues, then that's a different scenario. Saying your student is pushing, not like it's not focusing, it's not really trying, and he needs to be worked up on. Maybe you can speak about it with your kid. That's what else should be written if the kid's not doing well. And if the kid's doing like 100%, then the Chazak Baruch, that's great. But yeah, I'm talking about for the middle balance people like me, and I think Levi can relate. And a lot of other people also that if they're actually trying but are not doing well in tests, just write the honest, um, and write the honesty in the comments, not as a grade as like a Gimel, but then you have to
mhm.
tell the parents, and you have to make sure the parents even believe you. It's even harder when it comes to, it's even harder when it comes to cheder. Yeshiva could be a little bit easier. Sometimes you get away with it if you're not actually, if you're not in your local yeshiva, but it's even harder in elementary. But yeah,
Yeah.
really, really not cool.
Yep. So you're saying that there should be less stuff on report cards, and
Yeah,
effort should be. It should make it very clear that if you're putting if you're giving it your all, if you're putting in
yeah,
effort.
yeah. I think that's fine for the parents to know, but they shouldn't know my grade. And somehow, and especially, it's one thing they're
But
saying
what's the
and not
problem
saying
if they know
anything.
your grade? What's the
But to
problem if they
judge
know your
me
grade?
based on a Gimel, for example, I'm just saying Gimel is very like in the middle,
But
maybe
what's
base
the
more in the
problem
middle.
if they
But
know
like
your grade?
what?
What's the problem if they know your grade?
Because they take it in the wrong way. We just elaborated this like a few minutes
Ah,
ago. No,
so that's the
you
problem. The
want to make it
problem
clear?
That's the problem. The problem is they take it in the wrong way. That's why I wanted you to say it yourself.
The whole look at it. We're mainly talking about tests right now for the past who knows how long. We're just explaining, and I thought we were done with the conversation. We're just elaborating more how many issues come with a test.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and even if the principal teachers know that, but why is it not being brought up enough? Why is it being hidden under the carpet? Right? Is that the right expression
That's
for
what
it?
we're here for.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
we're here to bring that carpet flying in the air, magic carpet.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I mean? That's a
mentioned
little bit.
carpet. I want to mention something cute.
Yeah.
Why is it the style these days? When I say whatever, recently, it's to have much less carpets than what it used to be. So I heard that because it used to, well, okay, let's just say they always had carpets up until, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Basically after the Holocaust type of thing. So till then, everyone used to hide their schmutz. I'm talking about spiritual schmutz, under psychological schmutz, under the rug, under the carpet. And now, our generation, post Holocaust, we want to be authentic and we want to show who we really are. We want to be real people. So we don't. That's why we got rid of the style is not to have carpets because we want to show we want to show us. We're not hiding anything. We want to be our true selves. Sam, because you mentioned carpets, I wanted to say that.
Nice. Joke break over there.
Yeah. commercial
Yeah,
break.
just a little bit relaxed the conversation. That was actually good smoothness got over there.
Thanks.
The guys, relax a little bit, have a joke minute break. Make it a
Yeah,
thing in our heated conversations. Guys, joke break. Okay, whatever.
yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, I wanted to say in the beginning actually that I mean I write this in the description that this is a meaningful, relaxed conversation, and
Yeah, you wrote it very well, and I saw what you wrote in the
thanks.
description, and with the first interview with me and you, it was like, guys, you want, yeah, whatever, yeah, you'll say it. I don't
Thank
want to
you.
say whatever.
So
I
yeah,
don't remember.
hopefully in the next time I'll probably say it in the beginning, but just relax and soak it all in. We want to just we talk about goodness, and hope it enters your heart and changes the world in a good way. That's not
Yes.
the end. I'm saying it now. We're gonna no. That was a commercial break. Now back to what we're saying. And I mean, to
Yeah.
be honest, I think there's still more. We ended off with like a bomb, like that you said
Yeah,
that
that was
that,
definitely good stuff. We
that
brought it up. Very
that
important.
the problem is not that they're sending a Gimel minus to your parents. The problem is that it's not just parents, it's also the teachers, because the teachers for the test and also for the report card. But for the parents, it's more the report card. But it doesn't. That's not the point. And like I said, also shidduchim or also the community. It's not limited. It's limitless to where your test can go to. Who can see your test? The point is that I want to bring out that test is actually it's klipas naiga. It's a good thing, and it's supposed to be there to help you. But the way, kind of summarizing it, but the way the school uses it is a very fearful, not helpful way. It's destructive. It's
Yes.
supposed to be empowering, and even when you fail, even when they show you 75, and the teacher sees it, and you see it, and the parent sees it, they're supposed to take it in a way of, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, maybe do you need some help? Why do you think you got that number?
Yeah,
We're here
maybe
to
maybe
help you.
maybe you need a tutor, which
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes people take that
exactly.
seriously. But like, you need the extra. You need a shliach. You need in yeshiva.
So
You need a shliach to help you. You need a tutor.
exactly. So my practical point is that
Yeshiva does that sometimes, but still, it's
I just
like
want to finish
we
off,
brought it
Shmuly, that
up.
my practical point is that you should there should be on the report card everything. Now, everything like every day, I don't think so, because that's like overwhelming. Like you want to have a summary of it. The point is more that they show you all the subjects and how you're coming on time, all the participation, and they can be honest. It shows Gimel minus, but you're not afraid. On the contrary, you're going to your parents, you're going to whoever's there to help you, and you said, I need help. Like, how can you help me? And you feel safe to do that. That's my point.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
It's not instead of asking why did you get that grade, just go straight to the point.
yeah.
Okay, what that's a more yeah, but just go straight to the point. Do you need help? Do you want like a do you need a tutor? And it should be looked at as in like, I'm helping my child. The student is needing help, and he will get that, and I'm keeping a positive mindset. It's going to be better for him instead of
Mhm.
like, okay, we'll get you a tutor. You need a tutor, or.
So we kind of mentioned in our first interview, like the last interview, about comparing. At least I mainly said it, comparing Fabrangans to a class, and Fabrangans needs to be even more personal. But you have that aspect also in class where one size fits all, and the students are not happy and they feel unattentive to, like they're not being attentive to. And yeah, did you feel that in class that you were, didn't have enough attention that you needed?
Yeah, I think I felt that. I
And
think a lot of.
what did
I
you do
think the
about it?
only ones that I want to say something on that. I think the only ones that don't feel affected by that is the kids either don't care or the kids that are already smart that the teacher is just why not? As in like it's better, I guess, or I don't care. I'm anyway a smart person. For example, the Chassidish kids. I'm just saying that because I know a lot of them are very smart. A lot of them pass the test, so it could be obviously someone that's more like maybe not Chassidish, but I'm just saying like the smart kids are usually Chassidish. I'm saying either you're already smart or you just Pasha don't care. But we're obviously
Mhm,
trying to talk about the majority, which is that middle ground, which is the kids that feel like they need attention but they're not getting it,
mhm,
which is why sometimes the second option is to have a chavrasa.
mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, and but- so you felt like you needed more attention. Did you do something about it, or did you feel like you couldn't? There's no one to talk to.
um, not really either. That's the hard part because I don't know because I'm like I'm a little bit like spinning around the subject, because I'm trying to, because I feel like every year was something different. Also, because especially when I was more in the years of Masifta, I was thinking about it a lot more. It started a little bit in eighth grade. Eighth grade is already like a little bit like a Yeshiva type of thing, but like once you hit Yeshiva, you really think about it more. Which I didn't think about much in Shir Aleph at the beginning because I was just excited to be in Yeshiva. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more deeper and deeper, and I was just thinking like, was there a really better alternative to this? Like, is this really like the best thing for me? Like, I wasn't like in a very, very strict yeshiva. I was more like the modern mainstream. It's like there's like modern, and there's like what is it? The mainstream like strict Chassidish, fully Ten
Yeah.
and then there's like modern mainstream, which is more like local yeshivas kind of have that. But did I? Yeah, I didn't. I forgot what I was trying to answer. What am I trying to answer?
I think I asked you, what did you do about the fact that you weren't getting enough attention that you needed in yeshiva?
I mean, yeah, I definitely didn't feel like I got enough attention.
And
Oh
it
yes,
affected.
actually, yes. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm sorry because I'm getting excited.
Yeah,
No,
good, good.
it's on the top. It's on the topic that if you're when there's only in yeshiva, usually there's either higher class or lower class. I'm not sure what the mainstream yeshivas are, but I know actually maybe you can tell me, Levi. Would you know? Mainstream
Think
yeshiva, they have
and
higher lower
sometimes
classes, or it's just one
yes,
class?
but I'll take it a step further. I mean, it's mainly in the older grades, but I think
I'm not talking about Zal really. I'm talking like Masifta.
yeah, they stopped dividing it by age. They go by, and this is the way it used to be back in the day. Also, they don't go by age; they go by how advanced you are. So you can have someone 2 years difference of age, but in the same class because they're both the same
I'm not
advanced,
talking about
same
that
level.
exception. I'm talking about generally. I think you're talking about an exception case. Like you're talking about that kid that skips a grade because he's smarter.
No, it's not even officially skipping a grade. They basically there's some. I mean, I don't know. I think that they have it more by main really Chassidish yeshivas where they stop doing age. They just do by how advanced you are in the Gemara.
So okay, so you don't. Okay, so I'm just gonna say from what I know, what I experienced in yeshiva is that generally there's a higher and there's a lower class.
Okay.
Now I think I only experienced maybe twice in Cheder that there was a middle class. I think maybe once or twice. No, I think only once. I think it was just the first year. First time I started learning Gemara, there was a middle class also. Like there was three classes: higher, lower, and middle. So I'm more of the type of like a middle class. Like if I had the three choices, I would be in the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
So in yeshiva, there's only higher and lower classes. So I was that middle guy because I was in a lower class, sure. So I was the middle guy. I was the middle class guy in the lower class. So I
Mm-hmm.
got barely any attention.
Mm-hmm.
He was focusing so much more attention on kids that like so to say needed it more.
Mm-hmm.
But if I still need that attention. So I was sometimes, which I think leads to bad afterwards that basically I end up just not, especially during Chavrusa time, I end up just not caring. I just not caring. I waste time, and sometimes you don't want to be in the class, and you just don't know what to do, and you just feel lost.
Yeah,
And
you brought up a
and also
very
in
juicy
Mesivta,
topic.
unless you have a very smart Chavrusa, if you're in the lower class, it ain't happening.
Yeah,
So even though you might say that, oh, if I was in the middle man in the lower class, I shouldn't have been someone that's lower than me. But I still need help myself. I don't know the whole Terakula, and I can
yeah.
just give everything as a repeat, as a
Mm-hmm.
chazara. I have to learning things from scratch. So even sometimes I just don't understand a subject or something. The teacher just like when he comes, let's say like we go to the zal for chavrasa, or even inside the class, he's gonna run straight to the kids that are nebach that if not for the teacher they wouldn't be like learning or something there, because they don't understand in the first place. But I
Mm-hmm.
still need that help. So if I don't get those help, I don't understand for the subject. I end up like why do I care, or should I really take this seriously if the teacher doesn't take me seriously or stuff like that. So it's very very hard. I mean the teacher. I think it's a more technical issue because there would be a middle class in yeshiva, for example, let's say my local yeshiva, but they just can't do it because probably they don't have enough teachers or there's just not enough room. I think we can all agree. I think teachers, not we can all agree. I'm saying like the teachers also and the principal also agrees that they believe there needs to be a middle class. But that's even more of an issue. If it's so important, how can you put me in the lower class? You know, I need that middle class. You know it. You know other kids also. Why am I that? Why like how do you expect me to grow in a lower class? How?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And I can't be in the
Yeah.
higher class. I'm gonna fail all the tests because I'm just not that way high level. It's just
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So I'm one of those kids that I'm just like I'm on my own basically. I'm literally on my own. Think about
Mhm.
it. Like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
not independent. There's teachers, I'm in a class. I'm in a shear,
yeah.
but I feel like almost I can solve. You know,
It's
it's
very
really really annoying.
interesting you're saying that. I never saw it from that perspective because when I just said a minute ago how you brought up a juicy topic, but then I realized how you made it sound like the opposite of what I wanted to say, and I'll explain.
Go
Basically,
ahead,
it
yeah.
sounds like from what you're saying that you are a minority. Is that correct?
What do you mean? Like,
Like either the majority is either in the lower or in higher.
okay,
Yeah, is that correct?
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah. I
like the
know what you're saying.
minority
Yeah, I
that's in
think
the
I get what
middle.
you're saying. Yeah.
So, but that's the part that actually it was interesting. It's true in that circumstance, but the of idea of it is I can basically broaden it out to more places, and I'll explain. Basically, um, recently, when I say recently, I mean 10, 20, 30 years ago, and what gets more and more, we started to give attention to people who are struggling. And it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong, it should be continued. It's amazing. Um, I
Wait,
don't
wait,
need to
wait,
explain.
what should be continued? I don't think
What?
you're.
It should be
What should be
continued
continued?
how we help people who like special needs in every level, physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, on a spiritual level. That like
Oh,
special
okay,
like
yeah.
I mean in physically there are people who are born with special needs as we call them. But that applies also emotionally. We don't call them special needs emotionally, but it's the same idea that there are kids who need special needs emotionally and special needs mentally, and that expresses itself in a lower class. And the higher class is just like it's just a regular mainstream yeshiva.
Yeah.
Now the point is not really majority or minority, but yeah, definitely the in general the special needs, which I apply to emotional and mental, they are definitely the minority compared to definitely when you put together the middle class and the higher class together, they are the minority. And again, I'm not saying to discontinue that. I'm just saying how, and I kind of said this in one of my videos, how we can't forget our regular people, so to say. I expressed it in the video more like how we go out there to help other people who are not religious, and we forget
Yes, the
about our
outreach
own
one.
what
Yeah, the outreach one. Yeah.
outreach one, yeah. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
forget about our own people. So now I'm using that concept in this situation where we have the higher class of like the regular mainstream yeshiva. The lower class we invented something new that we can now cater to students who are special needs, so to say. And I don't mean in any bad way. We all are special. Like we're all unique, and we're all have our mission. No one's better than the other. But my point is more that we can't forget about the regular people. I mean, yes, people who need more attention, but it shouldn't take away from the regulars, because then now the regulars are falling apart, and are a perfect example where you were so-called the regular middle class that's being forgotten about.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And just being awareness that, like, again, we can't forget about our regular people, because it's not. And I know, I want to go deeper, and that's what I was trying to say before. I like to go
Yeah. Go
deeper
ahead.
in the
Go ahead. Yeah.
concept. Hopefully, I don't forget this one. The reason why, and I think I said this. I said this in my second video. The reason why we we tend to help people with special needs, physical, emotionally, mentally, in any way, because it's something different, it's something new, it's something interesting. Whereas helping the regular people, it's like, imagine you tell someone, oh, I helped out this Joe Schmo regular person. Is like, okay, so what? Oh, you helped out that kid. Oh, that kid's special needs, and you helped him out. Wow, that's like kol kavod. But if I helped out Joe Schmo, who's a regular dude, it's like, what's the big deal? He's a regular dude. You helped, like, okay, So it's both on a social level, and it goes to be a personal level. You feel more special using
Wait.
special.
Did
You feel
you
good about yourself
compare?
when you help someone who's on a lower level, but we kind of tend to ignore the so-called regular middle class people.
Did you compare in your outreach video with Tinnik Shanishba also in there? Because he also brought the deal of Tinnik Shanishba a
Yeah,
little bit.
that was and how I think. Yeah, I think I know what you're
No, you
talking
did
about. It's
mention
like
it something.
I
No,
didn't
because
say
just seeing this guy, like, forget about what forget about what you said in the video before we know what you said.
yeah,
That in the Tinnik Shanishba, we assume it applies to someone on the street, and the Chabadnik finds them a Jewish
yeah,
Balantzvellen. That's a guy that's like Tinnik Shanishba. But we
yeah.
also forget to what's the word you use for it? Like, not mention, but like,
Shibikir Bacha. Teenage Shibikir Bacha.
okay, whatever. No, something we forget to attend or mention.
Not sure what you're referring to.
Okay, whatever. It's not
I think that
important.
what you're
I
trying to
was
say
just trying to get
is,
the backlash saying that you said it, but
yeah,
that we forget to we forget about ourselves, that we ourselves are also Tinnik Shanishbas.
yes,
We can't just
exactly.
yeah.
And we can't forget about ourselves. So you can use that concept also. Yeah, it's very good that you brought it up. You could explain it from a different angle. Just
Yeah.
like you want to say that the lower class students are a teenage shenishba in a sense of they were born with a lower mental capacity.
Yes.
So too the so-called regular middle class are also teenage shenishba, that they need help in their way. They can't be forgotten. I mean, like, the lower class does need more attention than the regulars. That practically. But I'm just saying what I feel, and it's what I absorb around me, see around me, is that it's the middle class is forgotten. It's not like there's no anything, like you said, in the yeshiva doesn't exist a middle class, which sees how important it
Yes.
is. And you are an example of what happens when you don't cater to the middle class.
Yeah, and sometimes those are one of
Let me
those
take
categories that dropouts.
yeah, and it's interesting. Now it just reminds me. You can make it more broader, where you have the yeshivas for the higher class. You can take it in a more broader level. That the mainstream yeshivas are for higher level bachrim. They thrive in these yeshivas. Then you'll have yeshivas like Jets and Wilkes-Barre that the so-called lower class bachrim thrive in. Like, even I say even better than the higher class, because it's authentic and everything. It's all beautiful, but there's no proper yeshivas for the middle class. That is
Yes,
something. Yeah,
maybe instead of putting a separate category in the yeshiva, make it its own separate yeshiva.
yeah,
The
yeah,
kids
yeah,
that
exactly,
they're
exactly,
not like high level, but they're not gonna make trouble in class. That's also one of the
exactly.
advantages of middle class students, which is also bothers me. Forget about the fact about the level of Torah knowledge, but just like, I'm trying to focus like a normal middle class student. I'm not like, I can't be in the higher class and be quiet, but I can't.
Hmm.
But I don't want to be in the lower class and having kids behind me, which is about to say
Yeah.
is that kids are making so much noise. They're Wildekites, which I think you put in the category as what, mental problems or emotional problems. Like what category would you put ADHD, for example? Emotional or
The
mental?
ADHD could be an all three, I think.
Okay, yeah, it's even better to put it like that. So I just want to focus on class. I want to try my best. But other kids, they're just going Vodka, especially when they don't. Like I said, this issue, there's no connection. There's no like, this does have meaning to me. Do I want to get involved? Do I really care about this test? Stuff like that. So the kids just go Vildekai. Forget about that technical issue, but just generally the kids just Vildekai, and I cannot handle that. The teacher's a lot more catered to those students, and he forgets about me sometimes. I don't blame the teacher. Obviously, if you're gonna focus on one or more kids, it's gonna be the Nebuch kids,
Hmm.
because I still have that passion for learning Torah. But these kids,
Hmm.
they're just there, and if
No,
they're
that
already
just
there,
goes to
they're
show
gonna
that
try
you
whatever
shouldn't
they
be in the
can.
same class.
What?
That just proves that you shouldn't be in the same class.
Yes, yeah,
Like
exactly.
what you said, I think it's better to have a separate yeshiva for middle class than just having a
Yes, it
separate
actually
class.
should be a separate yeshiva, because a lot of middle kid students just don't fit, just literally
Yeah,
don't fit in
it's
regular
not just
yeshivas.
academically; it's
And a
also in
lot, and I
general.
think,
It's
yeah,
not just like
yeah.
it's also the whole vibe of the yeshiva. Just like Jets has its vibe.
Yes, the vibe. Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly why I said separate. That's why we said separate yeshiva and not like a separate class in the yeshiva.
yeah,
Very, very important,
yeah.
because the
It's
atmosphere really changes
mhm,
everything.
exactly. There's a whole different app. I mean, we can see it's a totally different atmosphere for the mainstream high level yeshivas to Jets yeshiva. But in the middle class, it's in the middle. It has to be something in the middle, like.
Yes, and
So,
and if those students don't fit, and I don't know, maybe you want to correct me on this one. Like, I think I think it goes in the category of how many kids drop out. I'm not talking about kids that drop out from mainstream yeshiva. I'm talking about even like someone like, let's say like a local yeshiva. Like I'm a local. I go to local yeshiva, so it's not like I said, it's not like mainstream, but it's also not like relaxed and like modern. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, that I feel like it goes from middle class to lower class to higher class that drops out. I think people
Oh,
might say that
the
I
level
think
of
the lower class
dropouts?
is
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
higher dropouts.
Exactly. That's a very good point.
But I
I
think no, I want to say something important. I think the reason why lower kids class drop out is because they feel like yeshiva is not for them. It's just
mhm.
like, I don't like yeshiva. I want to fry out, whatever it is, whatever the case is. It could be a little technical, but the middle class students are dropping out because they don't feel connection in yeshiva. They
Yeah,
don't. They're. It's more like a balance between physical and spiritual. That's why it's something called middle. That's
yeah.
why we're this whole a lot of this is this honestly the whole interview video right now. I'm talking about specifically this subject is mainly catered to middle class students, and we're not just expressing this. I'm expressing this from my personal life. I'm considered a middle class student. I'm not sure what you consider yourself, Levi, but maybe you also consider yourself middle class.
I
But
oh, okay. I would want to say this in a beginning, or especially my first video or something. But never too late. I'll say it now. Maybe I'll say it again in the beginning of a video or something. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's personal because you asked me what do I consider myself. So I mean, when it comes to tests, I mean, I've done 95% like olives like throughout. And I was considered a good student, but I knew something was off. I mean, I felt like this is kind of very personal. I feel like my mission is to combine both worlds. You know, the higher and the lower, the Gashmis and the Ruchnis, the right and the left, the up and the down, and the Siddish and not Siddish. I've always seen myself nishtahin nishtaher. I mean, you can either say that I'm both or I'm neither. So then I realized that my mission is maybe to combine both. Like I see both sides. Like I'm kind of like, yeah,
you want to be
watching both.
both.
What?
Like you want to be both. What do
There are
you,
aspects. There are like you said in the middle class. Like I'm not so high. I'm not so low. Like I'm not
Some
like,
people call that open minded, but we're not
yeah.
trying to go into the spiritual aspect. We're talking about specifically just education itself.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah. I'm taking it
don't
on a
confuse
broader
the
level. I'm
two. I
saying
mean,
on all levels.
it's like the same thing, but not the same thing. Like it's there's
Then
spiritual aspect, and then there's just the learning education
no,
atmosphere
no, yeah, yeah.
aspect. That's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because some people might compare it, so it's like a little disclaimer. Just like don't compare
Wait,
the
what do you mean
two.
compare?
Because some people might think you're talking about like an open-minded person. Because you were just mentioning about like the lower and higher.
No, it
Um,
could be open-minded, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
no, I
Um,
was saying I'm not saying two different subject. I was just wanted to. I don't know. Maybe I'm sorry if I'm confusing you guys, but I'm just saying like I wanted to say that it's just a little bit different. Like we're not exactly talking about like this is not the same exact subject. Like it's like I said, it's like the same thing, but not the same thing. What we're discussing about. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm confusing people, but okay, whatever. I mean, do you understand what I said, Levi? Do you know why? Do you even know why I just said that?
you, you're saying how
I'm saying
open-mindedness is not the same
there's
thing
two.
as the middle class. Not necessarily as the middle class.
No, I was just trying to say that we're not discussing about spiritual level of a person if he's open-minded, a very chassidish, or just fried out, his own derech. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about just the education level of it. So you're just
Yeah,
saying the
I
middle
brought it
ground.
out. I kind of mentioned it because I wanted to
Yeah,
say
I
in
just wanted to
general.
make that clear. That's all. Hopefully, you guys understand why I just brought that up. But yeah, l'chaim,
Fine.
l'chaim, right? Okay, whatever.
What are we
It's water,
now?
guys. Don't
About
worry.
an hour and a half?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're, we're getting we're getting very good into this. So
Yeah.
we got do as long
We
as we
can't
need.
go
Yeah.
past 3 hours. That's unfortunately the limit on Spotify and
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh huh. Okay. Anyways, yeah, we'll figure it out. But you said it's an hour and a half. You know that for sure.
We started at about 3.
Okay, whatever. Okay, you see, I'm not gonna disturb the people. Let's just whatever.
Yeah,
Do you see the time by you, or do you only see just us?
I see the time.
No, I'm saying, do you see like how long this recording has been going on for?
No, I don't.
Okay, whatever, fine, whatever. As long as you know. Should we edit this part out, or I don't care if you put it in?
Maybe. Yeah, being
Maybe,
Zoran.
maybe
Yeah,
this is a relax break.
yeah.
Take your mind off break. Focus on something else break. Okay, whatever. Anyways, speaking
So
about the middle ground, saying you saw
yeah,
both parts.
is there more to talk about it?
I don't know. I felt like I disturbed you and you were trying to finish off with something.
No, I think I finished. I think I finished.
So what was that? So maybe just for the people that forgot, or I also forgot. What was your point when you mentioned that?
Because you asked me personally, for me, where do I feel myself in which class? So
Oh, you were just saying simply that you just feel like you're the middle ground person. That's all
yeah,
you're.
I'm
Oh,
the
I thought you
middle.
were just something
When it
deeper you were
comes
trying to
to,
say.
I was
Okay.
trying to say that in every situation, and I mean academically, I was always put in the higher class, but I was kind of like in there. I mean, I was physically there, but I was like mentally outside of it, and then I was like always looking deeper on seeing how what is really going on, what is really going on over here, and
Hmm.
like I didn't really connect with the higher class, although I was there, and it was just a little strange. And I basically feel like I was the in between person. I was always connecting both worlds.
Hmm. And since like what at the end of your yeshiva years, you just like you couldn't you just didn't know how to feel after because you felt like both. You didn't know what to decide on. As in like, what's your final goal? What's your final like feeling?
No,
You don't have
I'm
to get so
still
deep
doing
into it.
that. I am
We're just
connecting
trying to
both
understand.
worlds. That's the way I am now. I'm always been like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so maybe what you mentioned now, yeah, you can say as in like
It's even like
you already
when it
brought up the
comes to,
open-minded subject. Yes.
I don't believe the structure system that we have is good. At the same time, um, it's better to have structure than no structure. At the same time, um, trying to bring, you could say, open-mindedness and awareness of new ideas, outside ideas into the system, trying to like
Hmm.
bridge that gap. You know.
Yeah. There's definitely, I think, so let's just a little bit summarize what we just did right now. I think we just mainly, I think we pretty much got into like, we said it pretty much enough about the main subject about class and like Sharm and stuff. Maybe.
Hmm.
I mean, we mentioned about test, mentioned about the connection, um, the students themselves, the middle ground class. I mean, there's definitely more to speak about the ship system itself. We can speak about the dorms. Um, that's just, I don't know. We can bring that up. Maybe bring awareness about it. That
Yeah.
you can't
What about
you
it?
can't
Is it a
expect.
good thing?
No, I just before we bring it up, I'm just trying to think of maybe something else. I mean, you can think about the yeshiva itself. Like, if it's comfortable, does a bachur feel comfortable in the yeshiva itself? I'm not talking about the environment. I'm talking about specifically just the ground, which I don't think it's. I mean, yeshivas try their best to make the bachur feel comfortable in the grounds of the yeshiva, but is it really the best? Okay, maybe that's more technical. It's not really us to decide that. I mean, if they didn't have to worry about money, I think they would just make the best of the best. But that's because like in order to have good ruchnis, you need good gashmias for
Yeah,
for the majority of
absolutely.
people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think more and more people are realizing that now. But in case that wasn't obvious, that yeah, I mean, there's some people out there that still think that the more you have to like yeshiva is like a boot camp. It's like the army where they treat them. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. It's not my place. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's just more of a yeshiva technical issue.
but some people think that it's good to have not good gashmias and it helps with the ruchnias. It goes into my topic of like trying to balance out the needs of the nefesh Bahamas and nefesh Elikis. When you crush the nefesh Bahamas, it helps the nefesh Elikis. But yeah, it's not
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, I think it's more of a technical issue, which is nothing really much to be brought up about. Maybe you could mention as on like a small point that no, but that's probably also pretty obvious that not
Oh, I have a topic.
yeshiva yeah, what?
What about teaching morals, teaching how to be a mensch, teaching how to be a chassid? Or they do that by Farbrengens. They don't do it in
No,
elementary enough, at
no,
least.
I think what? Oh, so maybe you brought up something interesting. I'm wondering if it could be in the topic of yeshiva system because it does apply to teachers, especially principals. I think we can some have different feelings about principals, but I'm saying I mean some principals act differently, but the role of a dugmachaya. You could have probably mentioned that as a separate subject in your own lecture videos. I'm saying your single videos, but you want to just bring it up now. I mean, you can probably mention a separate video, but
Yeah, let's talk about it
Yeah,
now.
we're
So
ready.
not
We're ready.
exactly.
Yeah, actually, no. I think it's important to bring it up now. We're pretty much mentioning the Yeshiva system. So, I mean, it can also apply to parents too. But like, let's just focus now mainly on the teachers, and we'll see if we'll bring it up to the parents also. But I think that the teachers, they tell you one thing. Oh yeah. Oh, so very important. Maybe we should start with this headline. Do as I say. Do as I say. Not no. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, yeah,
This is the so that's the headline of the subject. Do as I say, not as I do. So very big no thing.
no, that's a typical hypocrite. What is there to discuss about that?
Yes, I think teachers are. I'm not. We're not trying to say teachers have to be perfect, but if you're going to be in a teacher role, you have to be a proper dogmachaya. And if you do have issues, as in like which is and something that really bothers me, which happens in a lot of, especially a lot of regular yeshivas, is that teachers a lot of times when they're not specifically inside the class and specifically teaching to the students, they're a lot of times on their phones. Very
Yeah,
annoying. Especially a lot of yeshivas, they restrict the phones. So, and the teacher, they walk out of the class, and I see with principals, and it's not even just my local yeshiva. I've been to 2 yeshivas. I've seen other yeshivas, and a lot of the principals are just 24/7 on their phone. And I understand they have to be on their phone a lot, but does it have to be in front of the bakrim? Why can't they just sit the whole day in their office, or go to your own private backyard in your own house, or why is it in front of the bakrim they go on their phones a lot? And no, it's more like this. What's so important that if not doing it inside your office the whole day, that you have to be outside of your office and on your phone at the same time also. Like it's very rare I'll see the principal outside with not with his phone. I'm sitting also with teachers too. Teachers also are on their phones. I'm not talking about on the phone as in like calling someone. If someone's talking to you, it's one thing. That's between you and the phone caller. But if you're just on your phone, it looks like you're just like scrolling, which most of the time they're probably just texting. Like what does it have to really be in front of us? Is it that important that you can't wait an extra 30 seconds? Like you're not, you don't have a mansion. You're not crossing. It's not like it takes from each side to another. It takes like 10 minutes. It takes 30 seconds wherever you're walking to. Probably even shorter if you're just going from one room to another room. But it really is that like important. You have to be on your phone that like during the, while you're walking and moving around. Like it's really annoying. And plus, you admit that I don't blame them. I'm saying like they have things they have to do. But what my point is, does it have to be done in front of the bachrim? That's basically my point. I want to just bring that awareness that it does not have to be like that. And I think they can agree with that. But this is something that as a very clear awareness that bring that awareness that they're not aware that their bachrim being affected by it. And I'm not saying that as in like it could be and it's better not to. I feel like that personally. A lot of yeshivas, they restrict phones. Now, I don't want people to think that because you're phone addicts, so since you see a phone, you want your phone. No, it's the whole point of not having a phone in yeshiva is you don't get distracted, and that's also one of the reasons why I believe that bachim have to be in dorm, because if you're not in the dorm, you sleep at home. So especially when you're inside to sleep at home. I mean, you have to sleep in the yeshiva because they don't want that, because they know everyone's in the same restrictedness in the dorms. You don't have your phones at night or whatever. You don't have your phones during the day. You restricted with electronics or whatever the atmosphere. Once you're at home, they don't know what you're doing. But it's almost like when you see a teacher walking around with his phone or principal, you don't feel like you're in yeshiva. You feel like you feel like what's so important that they like it gives you that attention of the phone. It's the same thing, when you see a woman. If you see, I don't know how to say this very politely, but I'm going to try my best to say it in a clean way. If a boy, especially teenagers, if they see a hot girl, okay, if they see a beautiful woman, they're gonna get a temptation, which is what we should be, ourselves should be making sure we don't get into the temptation. We should, you see it once, we're natural, we're human beings, we see it, get excited, but then move on from it. That's it. Like don't follow into that trap. But when you see a phone, why I brought that up? Because when you see the phone, you get to the same feeling also the whole day, like especially when you're having a bad day and you're not speaking with other people, you're not like socially, like you're not socially distracted. But you see when I see the teacher's phone, when I see the principal on his phone, it's like I also want my phone right now. I also really want that. So you're giving me, what makes the difference of me seeing a phone versus me seeing the opposite gender? What is what's the difference? I still feel the same exact desire. Okay, so maybe you shouldn't have it. So why bring it up to me in the first place? It's the same reason why that's why there's some apps, there's some platforms, having the browser. There's a lot of good things on the browser too, but there's a lot of not good things on the browser also, which is why a lot of you would just restrict the browser in the first place. They restrict it in the first place so you don't come into that mistake. For example, you have an open browser, you can go into live, you can go on Chabad. They don't even go.
Boundaries.
Yes. So why isn't teachers on their phones that boundary?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Now I know.
Have you ever told them? Have you ever told them?
I actually mentioned it when I was in the different yeshiva, not in the local, because the local one it was more different the phone, Paul, especially for local bach. I was considered like I didn't sleep in the dorms. I had my phone a lot of the times, but like for when I was in like in a dorm yeshiva, this yeshiva I tried out, so I experienced non-dorm and dorm
Mhm.
and so I experienced both, which is why I'm able to also speak about the dorm issue in the yeshivas. Um, saying like I'm not just expressing things that I don't know, just for those out there that might know me and saying that you haven't been inside a dorm yet. But I'm saying that. Sorry, what was I just saying?
Your
I got sidetracked.
experience, that I asked you, have you ever told a teacher why they're on their phone, even outside the classroom in front of
Yeah, no,
students?
yeah. So yeah, I did. So no, because I was gonna say yes that I told that to one of the teachers when I was in the other yeshiva I tried out.
Oh, how do they respond?
They said that they try not to. I actually mentioned it to the principal. And he gave me an excuse that, oh, so we had a feeling that would be an issue for the student and for the teacher themselves, because no one's perfect and no one can like fully control themselves. So they give the teachers a phone that I think it has no Wi-Fi, or if it does have no, it does have Wi-Fi, whatever, have some sort of internet connection,
Doesn't
but
matter.
you only have the app that marking the students and all the other things, and I think something else, maybe a calculator or something. But like basically
But the
all they have
students
is
don't
just
know
that.
that. The
What?
students don't know that. The students only see a smartphone. They don't see that's off Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they only know that. Yeah, so they only unfortunately know that when if you ask the principal themselves, you know, and that's also the issue. Bachrim, which I think we should mention. I don't know much to discuss about it, but Bachrim are not being open properly. Bachrim need to open up. They need to tell how they feel about themselves, and it should not only be done as a mishpia talk. And if it's done as a mishpia, that's what you feel comfortable about. It shouldn't. I mean, we're not talking about your personal life issues. We're talking about general yeshiva issues, saying like we need to make changes, we need to make change that. And why are the teachers closing their ears when they hear this? Why aren't they feeling deep? Why aren't they asking deeply what is best for the students? Why isn't the principal deeply asking students what is best for them? You know, why is it not being brought up? Why a lot of the students hiding their feelings? Because that's also one of the issues that since the principal teacher is not used to having students open up, and I mean like in a serious way, as in like this needs to be made a change, not just like, oh, I want this, I want that, or I don't like this, I don't like that, but like seriously, like we need to make a change, which is why we're speaking. With this whole point of this interview, we're speaking for people that don't know, that don't open up for themselves, which is you
Mhm.
guys are welcome. We're bringing up the subject, and also for the
Mhm.
principals and teachers and whoever else needs to see this in the chinuch system to see what's
Mhm.
going on. Also parents too to see what's going on, what actually feels like for a bacher themselves. So what was I just saying? I thought this looks so bad that I'm like losing my train of thought, but
Right.
because I'm just getting excited in this
It
subject.
shows how raw and natural this is.
Yeah, I
Unfiltered,
guess it looks raw.
uncensored.
Yeah,
uh,
uncensored. Yeah, well, there's nothing much to censor. We have to explain every issue there is in the kind of system, and
yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, no, I was just saying the students are not open. They're not open enough to explain their issues. But there's something I said right before that. So what did I say right before that?
About the phone specifically, again, that you were saying that having
No, no,
phones.
that was already almost like 5-10 minutes ago. Like the past like
Yeah,
no, I think I was just saying students weren't open enough. But what did I just say right before that?
the dorms.
No. Oh yeah, I was kind of explaining about. Oh, it's so funny. I don't know how I forgot. Oh no, yeah, because I was saying on my issue that I didn't feel because you were saying that Bachman don't feel like that. The Bachman like only you know that because you asked the principal himself, but the students don't know that because they're not open enough. And I literally see Bachman, no matter what yeshiva it's going to be, it can even be in the mainstream yeshiva, which is even sad. No, actually, no, specifically mainstream yeshiva because there's Bachman there that are forcefully being there because their parents don't think otherwise, or they don't care what the student wants, and they're not old enough to make their own decision. So they're
Hmm.
like, oh, this is you're gonna go here, and that's final. Like, there's no other option, you know. And but so I think this very rarely really happens in the modern yeshiva because they already take care of all these issues, which is chazak u'brach to them. But there's bachar that are just always just sad. Not always just sad. I've seen like they're generally just sad and they just
Hmm.
walk around like they walk around like a floppy person. They walk slow. They look sad on their face. They don't always look so happy, and it's like I feel it with the bachim, and what makes it even worse is that when students have the problem, the students only mention their problem when they're dealing with it, when they're dealing with the problem. For example, when the teacher tells the student, okay, Shmuel, stay behind in class. You have to retake the test. The student goes insane. He's like, well, what are you doing? I don't want to. Especially in Shral, because it's just the first year. Bachram are still like little teenagers, so like they don't know how to act properly. They don't think otherwise. But what I did, which I did the smart move. First of all, I mentioned the issue also when I'm dealing with it, which I barely was a troublemaker. I barely had to stay back in class or retake tests. But I see it for the students, they're not. I don't think they're bringing this up when at a time when they're more relaxed, saying, "Hey, listen, like principal, teacher, whatever, Mishpia, I want to tell you something." Maybe Mishpia talks, which is people might actually do mention it because teachers will probably make them say, as in like you have an issue with the system, something you want to bring up, but it needs to be brought up as in like a serious issue, as in like not when you're upset and in the moment, but when you're not in the moment. I did a lot of times when I was not in the moment. And teachers don't really know what to do about that because they're not used to. That's the sad part. I imagine teachers were used to it. Probably a lot of teachers wouldn't want to be and wouldn't want to be in the education system because they're scared that students are going to bring up these things that they like. Oh, I don't know, like this is the way it is, or they bring up some other excuses, make them look more natural. Like, I have my
That's the
excuse and this is the
problem.
reason why and this and
That's the
that. So
problem.
yeah,
I mean,
really big.
like I think I mentioned in one of my videos how like the fact that they're too
I think the
scared to
middle
say
students
I
are
don't
the ones
know.
that's bringing up these issues, which usually kind of happens in the lower class. I mean, even with those Nebach kids, like you say, like they have mental problems, like ADHD, whatever it is. Like you think they're not interested in learning, but they mention these issues from time to time. Like like I said before earlier in the video, that they mentioned that if we didn't have tests, we didn't have worksheets, I would probably learn a lot better, no matter how much material we have, because I'm just learning. I have the desire to learn, and just like
Mm-hmm.
the teacher admits that the neshama wants to learn, why should I need a test for that? You're gonna tell me a
Mm-hmm.
test is there to help me like oh, so make you look bad. They say, oh, so that means you're telling me was it a test? No, a test versus no test. You will learn better without a test. You will know the material in your head. You remember it better without the test compared to with the test. How does that make sense? And then the student is like, but that's not the point. I'm telling you my honest response, and then they make you look stupid, and they're just like, you see, that's my point. Like they don't tell you that in your face, but it's in like from head to head,
The
from
feel.
mind to mind, are saying that's like you get my point. Like you can't do better
Yeah.
without a test. Test is making, but it's such BS. It's disgusting. Like I feel like the student issues are not taken seriously. And if it is, it's taken a very small minority. Sometime, which is also which I'm speaking of for Bacham that are dropouts, that there's people that get so pissed off, they get really annoyed, their issues aren't taken care of, like a lot of times the middle class students that actually want to like gain something, but they don't have that like high level class, and they just drop out. They drop out, and and the teachers don't know what to do. And it's one of the reasons why they drop out because they bring up their problems and they don't and they don't have us and teachers don't have a solution what to do. So they're just like, I don't know what to tell
Stand
you. And
into
then
another better
when they say I don't
yeshiva.
know what to tell you and they're quiet and the mashpia talk, whatever it is, in the conversation, the one-on-one conversation, they're like, okay, I'm sorry, you can't help me. I'm going to drop out. I can't force myself to be here, you know. And then whatever happens after is up to the bacha, which sometimes ends up for the good. Sometimes it's unfortunately go off the derech because they weren't they felt like, oh, if they can't take care of me, why should what's my meaning in life or whatever. That's
Yeah, it's
pretty deep.
unfortunate.
There's
Do you
something you
think?
wanted to say. I don't think you're trying to say something as I was speaking, but you let me finish my talk.
I
So
think I'm just adding it like some words, but not a. I want to get like kind of like mentions different from a different angle. Do you think any of these issues can apply to elementary, or just you're too young to realize that there's a problem?
you mean like in Cheder? So
Like Seder has the
no,
same issues, but
I
we're too
think
young
no. The
to
only thing they can
realize.
relate to is anything but specifically that applies to yeshiva. I mean, it's not really that much. Maybe just the dorm issue and just learning for a lot of hours. But
Oh, you mentioned you want to speak about the dorm.
to bring up the dorm issue, no, I'm just trying to bring up dorm as last because I feel like dorm would be like the last I would talk about in the yeshiva system. I don't know. I think we already brought up kids need to be open up more. You can't just hide the issues.
Is a dorm? I mean, what else?
I
What
mean,
else do you?
you can talk about the long hours of learning, but that's nothing much really to talk about because the teachers themselves and they already understand. So like it's already they already know that the
So
issue
why aren't they
of learning for
changing
a
it?
long time is an
No,
issue.
that's actually a
What?
very important topic, and we mentioned
No,
it, I
it's
think, in the last
important, but
interview.
I'm just thinking, what is there to talk about it? As in like awareness, as if like teachers don't know this. People, they know this.
So why aren't they changing it if they know it?
Because this goes in the category, which maybe you could have mentioned also, is that it goes in the category of Bachar not being open up with themselves enough.
What's the connection?
Because when you say, "Oh, I cannot handle all these hours, and that's why I'm going crazy in class, especially in the afternoon," they can't handle themselves because I cannot handle 12, 14 hours a day of learning. Or let's just say 12 hours or 11 because you have like the hour or two for breaking, for breaks and lunch, whatever I'm saying.
Right.
But
No, I think
but the teachers do understand that people have that, that they need something else. But the thing is, I think it's just really sad that I think I know why. Because let me say something I think might be interesting to bring up about is that the yeshivas and teachers know that there's an issue with the student, that they know that they cannot handle a whole day, but they make them in a way that hopefully you will learn to accept this, and this will be your way of life. I'm saying for yeshiva.
in
Do you understand
what
what
does
I
that
said?
mean?
As
No.
in, like, we know, especially, let's say, especially the lower class students, they're not so smart. If you're already smart, you go with the flow, and hopefully, pretty much you pass all the tests, But for lower class students that are just trying to pass that test, for negative or positive reasons, that because if they, I'm trying to say this smoothly, because when in the hot, if you, they know, for especially for lower class students, you can't learn for such long hours. But they leave it that way, which is also its own issue needs to be brought up. Is that when students are not open up, they don't know how to feel, and then when it gets too late, they don't know how to change themselves. And that's the issue when it comes to dropouts, frying out, and it's very, very not good.
You're saying that they have they're oppressed feeling. They're
Basically,
oppressed
no,
their feelings.
listen. That's the issue. No, because it's kind of a deep thinking, but like they know you cannot handle 14 hours of learning, 14 hours being yeshiva, but they structure you in a way because they hopefully, with a little bit of your gashmias, you have your gashmias a little bit, and like we'll make a way that you can learn for 14 hours. But but then
It
eventually,
doesn't work.
hopefully, which
No.
is some students do it earlier than later, which is better for the students to do it earlier. They say like I tried, with this level of class that I'm dealing with, I cannot handle
I think
learning
it's a
for
minority.
14
It's a
hours.
minority. Should be
What
a
do you mean?
minority that's able to handle the whole day of yeshiva. And I say that because
100%.
even some people that would say that they are successful, but I've noticed around me, even I was in the biggest Chabad yeshiva, and I've noticed how many people bullshove, they waste their time, and specifically, well, both in a 3 hour Gemara in the morning, especially in the afternoon, and there's so much wasting time. So I want to make a simple solution, and I think it's just simple math and scientific, in the sense of if you when you have so much time, you tend to waste it. But when you have a
Yes,
little bit
exactly.
time,
Yes.
when you have a
Because if you
short
have
time,
less, yeah, yeah.
then you just use all the time that you have to learn. So it comes out to be like roughly like out of the 3 hours that they have every day, I would say there's, if you're lucky, an hour accumulated from those 3 hours that you're learning. But if you had only an hour or an hour and a half, because it's only an hour and a half, you would learn the whole time.
But what do you mean? Like, as in, like, what's the alternative that's is but should be changed? What do you mean by it should be only like Sharm are only an hour, classes are only an hour? What do you mean
No,
by it
no.
should be an hour, hour and a half instead of like
So I'm
what?
saying mainly. So
Be
let's
more
say
clear with what
Yeshiva
you're saying.
Gdela is simple. Yeshiva Gdela is simple, where you mainly have chavrusa the whole time. So I'm talking mainly about that. And even by Mesivta, you have a lot of chavrusa during the afternoon. There's so much time of it that most of it is wasted. So if you just make less time of everything, then because there's less time, I believe you will end up learning, if not the whole time, at least most of the time. And it's a psychological thing, because when you feel like you have so much time, it's both like, oh, I have the freedom, and don't worry, I have so much time, and also it also it's just overwhelming. You just kind of give up when you have so much
Yeah,
time
and
that
then
you
you
have
get
to
ants in
learn.
your pants. Like at
Yeah,
least
you have
in
ants in
Zal,
your
you can pretty
pants.
much just walk out of the building. But when you're in Masifta, the teacher's like, hey, where are you
Yeah,
going?
you're really, really stuck. So, but yeah, but if you know you only need to learn an hour hour and a half, or when it comes to chassidus, only a half hour. Like what? You can't do a half hour? Okay, some people can't do a half hour. But I'm talking for the majority. You know, for the you could just split it. And the point, I'm not trying to make a certain amount of time. What I don't care if it's a half hour, hour and a half. The point is that make it much less, almost like even split it in half, at least something like that, and you'll
I
end up
think maybe to
having
make you
the
sound
whole
more
time
clear
being
is
what.
that it sounds like you're trying to split the timing of the day, like let's say instead of doing it all the way till 9 o'clock at night, do it till like 5 or 6, and then you're talking about the amount of time the share is. I mean, Chaversa also,
Um,
because I
no,
think
I'm
for
not
me
talking
and the
about the
audience,
whole
I'm not
day.
fully understanding what
I'm,
you were
I'm not
trying
talking
to
about the whole day.
differentiate
I'm
the
talking
difference.
about each seder for its own. The chassidus in the morning is an hour and a half. Make it a half hour, 45 minutes. And the Gemara in the morning and the Gemara in the afternoon, instead of 3 hours, make it an hour and a half. And Seder at night, instead of hour and a half, make it a half hour, 45 minutes.
Oh, so you're saying if you would just make everything less time, let's say for example, instead of Gemara 3 or 4 hours, then you make it like an hour and a half, and if you put everything backwards, you won't need that all the way till 9 p.m.,
Yeah,
9:30.
yeah.
But then it
And
takes
oh
away
no,
no, but it
not
takes away the idea of the Gisabayim Belayla.
no.
So
So
that's
that's why
why
I
like
told you it's not my point. My point is not that your day ends earlier, because it's not also like Yisrael B'Yom V'Layla. They also don't want
that's
you.
why also it should be changed, because even though by the Rebbe Rashab and the Rebbe agreed with it that you should have 12, 14 hours of learning, these days it's either you
Oh,
learn for 6 hours or you don't learn at all. But that's like elementary. You already also have like only 6, 8 hours.
we don't even do
So
like the
like
way it was in Yeshiva Teichatun. They had 3 hours of chassidus in the morning. So,
no
something
no no no
they had
no
it
they
more.
only no they had
Whatever
simply an
it
hour and
was,
a
they
half
had it more than
in
what
the
it is
morning and
now.
evening, and then Gemara was like 6 to 8 hours, like
Yeah,
straight,
yeah.
literally.
So we
They only
anyway.
ate
So
twice also.
yeah,
So
we
big breakfast and I think big dinner.
yeah.
No,
So we
no, dinner
anyways
was like
don't
whatever,
do it
but
the way it was back then. And it's not. We're just being honest with ourselves. I'm just saying that for myself and for others around me, there's so much wasting time. And I'm not saying you should have free time most of the time now, because you split everything in half. I'm not saying you should have to end the day earlier or have more free time. I'm saying either do different other subjects like halacha, which is something we should talk about on its own. It's extremely lacking, and the Rebbe said halacha should be more in yeshivas, and there's barely any halacha. And if there's any halacha, it's the end of the day when your mind doesn't work. So it should be much more halacha time, and at the beginning of the day, when your head is working, and how important it is. But like other subjects, or even do physical activity, make it a session like a PE. Do physical activity. Um, do like talk about other subjects. And another topic we can kind of bring into right now, like other subjects, like talk about how to be how to do mitzvahim properly, how to be out there in the world properly, how to be a good father, how to be a good husband, how to
I make money.
how to make money exactly. What do you think about the dorming in yeshiva?
The dorming is a very interesting topic. I think a lot of people have their own opinions about it. There's a very general 2 points of view versus like I want better atmosphere versus like I want more like crazy atmosphere. Like I want to feel like no, I'm not saying personally me. I'm saying what I would speak for someone else, as in like there can be personal points of views of like what I would like to be in a dorm, and then there's two aspects versus like I want it to be like chill, like chill dorm, the people having like open conversations, like don't really care what they're talking about or whatever it is, and like chilling. And then there's people that want like I just want a place to sleep. You guys want to talk? Go outside, go for a walk, and like
Yeah,
dorm is
yeah,
supposed to be only for sleep.
that's a big
Yeah, the
issue.
hard time.
Sleeping. Yeah,
What?
there's
Yeah,
the,
because the
the
hard.
people who want to sleep have a hard time because it's usually noisy. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, some yeshivas are more on top of it. I've only been to a dorm yeshiva, the second one that I tried. Um, but it was like I said, it was more like Nebuch Yeshiva. Like it wasn't like Bacham were kind of built and they're like crazy. So like the Doran concert, which I think is, I wonder if he gets paid the same amount as a regular yeshiva because he just barely does his job. I mean, he has a hard job because he's dealing with crazy Bacham, but he's not doing his job properly. Which I think also something I might mention is that I think it's also a phone issue that he had. He was very very addicted to his phone. So like he wasn't like okay, you have to have your phone too because everything was digital over there. Like I'm saying, like everything was marked down digitally. Also, if he has an issue, you tell the dorm he would tell the principal. But he would be on his phone a lot. He didn't really care, and he was just like back and forth, like phone this, phone that, and then like like you understand who everyone is. If you're gonna mark someone down, you'll write down in his phone. But like, whatever, okay, that's more technical. But I'm just saying, like, when I was in that yeshiva, I had sleepless nights. Like literally, I never got a chance to sleep. I'm not joking. Like
Why?
I tried it out for 2 months. And like I just never got sleep there. And now I don't think everyone's experienced this in a lot of dorms. I think it's just exceptions. Um, but those Bachrim, like literally, dorm council wasn't doing its job. Pretended to be quiet, wasn't quiet. Also, in general, my room was an exceptional room because like I came there. I started a little bit later. I started a little bit later in the year, so I didn't really get a chance to choose my room. Because obviously, if I had an option, I wouldn't be with the crazy Bach. I would be like in a quieter area, which there was. But I didn't have that option, so I had like literally middle of the hallway, and like people walking back and forth to the bathroom, and it's just like noise and people screaming at the dorm concert. Like a lot of the regular yeshivas deal with that, you know and it was not like a good experience at all. I had like sleepless nights. I mean, I'm the type of person where I'm able to survive with a little bit of sleep if I need to, but I was just like the whole day I was just feeling like bleh, like I just wanted to be in my bed. I want to be on my phone, and that's even worse. I didn't even have my phone. It's like I only want to be in my bed. I couldn't even be in my bed because it wasn't quiet, especially during the day, and there was so much lighting, and I had barely any quiet place, and it was just really really annoying, and it's just so that like we all need sleep. At least it's like if we have a decent amount of sleep, like we can like do what we gotta do during the day. But if we don't have enough sleep, like the whole day is just messed up.
Yeah,
And I had that for 2 months. So even on Shabbos, it wasn't even quiet. And Shabbos was actually more relaxed because Friday night they feel like, oh, it's Shabbos, like don't make the fucking crazy, like let them like sleep whenever they want as long as they're more or less quiet. And like there was no like 10:30 lights out type of thing. It was like whatever, but it was really loud. And even though like they were pretty, like every yeshiva, like, they try to be strict with lights out overall, but like this yeshiva, like dorm counselors didn't know how to control the bachrim, and it was getting like like let's say lights out was like I think between 10:30 and 11, and it wouldn't get like fully quiet till like 1 a.m. And this was every average night.
that's
Very,
crazy.
very rarely around 12 o'clock, but it wouldn't get quiet till like between 12 and 1. My room, also, my roommates didn't like to sleep. Because like I said, it was like they let, which is also something that I didn't like about the yeshiva, a very, very big no-no, is that, big no-no, that like they left when that Bachrim, that yeshiva was why I went there because I thought it was in a way where the Bachrim over there in Nebach, they want to learn and they just need their space, they just need their space. And I did have my space over there, but it was in a very, very bad way. They didn't care about me. They didn't really take care of my issues. I was like a type of guy where other people were needed more than I was, which how I felt also in Sharm in general. I'm saying like when I was in this local yeshiva here, different yeshivas, um, and it was just really like I felt like lost over there, and I was just like I felt like I was in a different world in a very bad way. I wouldn't say hell, but whatever. I shouldn't say that, but like I just felt like I felt really like I needed to get out of here ASAP, and like
Mhm.
theoretically I could have, but it wasn't so simple because I was like in a more like smaller town yeshiva, so like it wasn't so simple to go in and out of the airport and traveling and finding someone. You couldn't really Uber. I mean, there was an option for Uber, but it's very very expensive because it's like but I'm not trying to get technical in this details, but
So what do you think
I'm
is the
saying
solution?
I was suffering for 2 months and it was just insane. That's something probably more. I think there's some yeshivas out there like that, and some of them are. And there's this yeshiva is on a recent yeshiva is going on for years. The only difference is that the issue which I was having in that yeshiva was only an issue more like after COVID. Since COVID happened, that happened, or I don't think it was like this like over 10 years ago, but like within at least 5 to 6 years, this became
Yeah,
an issue,
over the years,
especially in
things
the past
change
2 years,
quickly.
more specifically.
Over the years,
What?
things change very quickly. Yeah, 10 years ago is for sure not the same. So what do you think?
The
Were you
Bachman
an
were more normal.
exception? Were you an exception? Do you think that like dorms are? Do you think it's just you, or it's most people are suffering in dorms? Is what do you think the solution is?
I mean, you're not going to be comfortable in a dorm, but it needs to be a place where everyone has an understanding. If you want to chill, okay, well, it's like, yeah, we all want to chill in our bedroom. Like, that's why we chill there. That's why we bring there and talk there. I'm saying, like, not for bring as, like, something Jewish, but I'm saying, gather together. For bring also means gathering, right? So, like, they gather together, they talk, they schmooze, whatever it is. And it's like, sometimes it disturbs the Bachrim that actually want to sleep. It's really, really annoying. I mean, in my local yeshiva, they have that balance, like, it's not, like, fully, fully strict, but, like, but they understand that, like, if it's not quiet, like, there's also two different parts. There's like curfew and then there's like lights out. Like lights out needs to be like the lights are off fully. Like it can't be any noise in the dorms. Even to the point where if you walk out of your room, if the dorm counselor's around, you get in trouble, as in like because you went to the bathroom or whatever it is. Maybe it depends what share you're in. But I think it's pretty much the same for everyone. But whatever, in that yeshiva, it was a very very terrible experience, and I think it's just not okay how the Anhala just finds it like fine that these bachar just nebach and this is the way it is. If you don't like it, leave. Like that's just disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also the type of place of yeshiva where, like I said, I thought it was for bacham that don't actually want to be in yeshiva, that don't like they want to learn, so to say. They want to they want to try, but the mainstream yeshiva is not for them or whatever it is. And then they go to this yeshiva, and this place is actually for bacham that don't want to be in yeshiva in the first place. Like they're not like mamish fried out, but they just don't want to be like in yeshiva. Like these bacham, I think, would do a lot better in like in a Wilkes-Barre type of style yeshiva. But instead, their parents don't want them to be in a fried out yeshiva, so to say. So they put them in this. This is what I would call the last option if you want to be in a Hasidic atmosphere, but it's like with terrible bachrim. This is like the last place to go to.
Yeah.
But I even though I thought about it so much, I didn't just like, okay, I heard about yeshiva, I'm gonna try it one time, like it's all good. Like I asked one person, I'm good. I went into a lot of research in this yeshiva, but apparently no one told me the real results what I'd see in this yeshiva. I mean, you only see the real results when you actually go in. But I asked someone that was there like the year before, someone that's there right now, and like whatever. But that's the issue. Bacham are just like whatever, just
Whatever.
fun with people, and
Okay.
so, yeah, you'll figure out a way around it. And it was like I cannot figure out any way around it. Like literally no way. Just disgusting. Like literally, it feels like a whole like everyone's literally in their own zone in such a bad way. Even the shluchim were barely even there for you. Like they also wanted their space a lot, and that's not what I've. Maybe because my local yeshiva that I grew up in, when I tried in the first place, is that because the shluchim over there, like I said in the previous episode, I was talking about for Brangens. If you guys check that one out, that those shluchim are very very good. They're like those are one of the best bachrim that were in Shirdawa that get sent out. Those are one of the best bachrim, so they're very very good stuff. They're very smart and they're just good in general, good vibes and everything. But this was also a pretty decent balance where I was in this yeshiva, in that other small town yeshiva. But it's just the shluchim. I don't think they were bad shluchim. They were just really really weird, and it like even the shluchim themselves made the yeshiva look so weird. And it was just like I'm not trying to get technical into that because it's just more like expressing a story. I'm not trying to give a story over here. I'm trying to explain important points. But I just wanted to go inside the subject. What I saw in that yeshiva, not what I felt, what I saw in that yeshiva. It was just terrible. I just couldn't find it, and like it almost made me want to like fry out. No, not even really fry out because I have like a very very strong passion to learn and everything and try to be a good person, a good Jew, but Hasidic at the top level. But I just couldn't do that in the yeshiva. It was just terrible.
Was it just you, or do you think other people are suffering too?
You talking about specifically in that yeshiva?
In general.
General, yes, for sure. I'm not the only exception. I just maybe might be a little bit different than compared to everyone else. But
what do you think the solution is?
The solution, that yeshiva shouldn't exist. Why I say that? Because after all these years, the mechanchim haven't changed. Mm-hmm. So I would say change the mechanchim, but obviously like they're trying their best. If you're actually trying your best, don't be here. Don't make a yeshiva.
Yeah.
It's either going to be a modern yeshiva or you got to be in a regular mainstream yeshiva.
You remind me of a great story, and maybe did you finish everything you wanted to say about dorms?
Not really. I mean, it's just very generally speaking awareness that there's bachrim out there, which I think Anhala knows that, and the teachers know that. No, I think mainly I should be mainly speaking about dorms, which I experienced that have that not good balance where, they have like the lights out and everything, like every dorm has to, you have to make some sort of seder, but it's just really not kept properly at all. Bachrim just don't care about it. It's treated not in a good way. The roommates don't really care about it. Oh, what's even harder, the roommates don't really care about each other. I mean, I'm just maybe more awareness mainly for Bachrim themselves. You should be aware that you're not actually caring for the other students. Like
what is going on?
Like
you're learning all day, but you're acting like a behemoth, selfish behemoth.
No, not even that. No, that could be also, but that's more like the Bachrim that are just like pretending to try, or they're actually trying, or whatever. But they just act like themselves at the end of the day, or when they're not specifically in class. But I had and also the Bachrim need to understand, because I haven't been in the dorms of my local yeshivas. I don't really know exactly what it's like, but what I experienced in that yeshiva, that other town, in small town yeshiva, that the Bachrim think like, okay, guy, like for example, say I'm trying to sleep, right? My roommates don't want to sleep, and sometimes bring guys in like they want to like whatever, chill, talk, whatever it is, who knows what, and like sometimes it'll be like, yo, like my roommate's trying to sleep, like be quiet, but they don't know what be quiet means. That's how bad is Bachrim. They don't know what be quiet means. They think be quiet means like the way I'm talking right now versus I'm not gonna do it on camera, but I'm saying like screaming. Like they don't realize talking normally is not called being quiet. And even if they are quiet, they're gonna be loud in like 10 seconds. Once they start laughing or something like oh yeah, it's like so good, whatever, they forget where they are. And
Yeah.
it's disgusting. And I told the
Yeah.
dorm counselor, I told on Hala, and you know what's the worst part about it? They
What?
tell you they can't do anything about it.
Oh
That's
my God. Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. That's
If you can't do anything
disgusting.
about it, screw your yeshiva.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell people it's
Yeah.
bad. No,
Yeah.
you don't want me to tell
Yeah.
people to come. Like they made a fundraiser. Like no, I tell people don't support this yeshiva. Don't support
Yeah.
it.
Good.
What are you supporting?
Good.
You don't know what's going on in the yeshiva.
Exactly.
Unless
Exactly.
unless it's a local yeshiva and parents have seen what's going on. They have parent teacher conferences. They speak to the students. And
Yeah.
everything. It's
Yeah. That's a
yeshiva.
good
This
point.
is a small town yeshiva. They have no connection with the teacher. No connection with the parents. The parents don't know what's going on over there. It's
Exactly.
disgusting.
That's a
They
good
don't know
point.
what they're
That's a very
supporting.
good point. Yeah. Well said.
So yeah, I don't think it applies to every yeshiva, but those who knows that applies to knows who it applies to. For example, like I gave my experience. So
So what is the solution? To just have good dorm counselors?
no, it just drunk counselors to be doing their job. They don't have to like scream at It's not about. That's also the issue because Bacham don't get in trouble right away, and that's also why people feel that. That's why teachers feel they need to make kids in trouble because they rely on getting in trouble. That's when they're actually not good. And then when they actually get in trouble, like why'd you get me in trouble? That's how stupid these kids are. Like they're like and I see drunk. I'm very on drunk counselor's side. He's like I was very nice. I'm not screaming at you. And when I do scream at you, I'm trying to be nice. I give you many warnings. It's way after lights out, and like and Buck when he gets like, hey guys, strike one, strike two, and he was like,
So then
what did
it's a
I do? Like
Bachum's
I'm trying
problem.
to go to bed. Like
So
what do
it
you do?
seems like the Bachum's problem. The dorm counselor is doing everything he could. No.
No, but he's not doing it seriously. That's the issue because I don't know how to explain this properly, but I feel like the phone issue is with it. But I mean that also Dorm Council was kind of weird too. Like he was kind of chill, but he was also like I don't get paid enough to like take this seriously or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's the
that's
sad
what I
truth.
wonder. I
If
think
you
the only
get
reason
paid
people are willing
properly,
to be
you
a
do your
dorm
job
counselor
properly.
because a dorm counselor you're only doing your job for like what 1 hour a night. It's actually depending on the yeshiva. It depends how good the bachim are. For example, my dorm counselor that I was in that only yeshiva where I was in a dorm, he was a dorm counselor for like 3 hours a night. Sometimes even
Mhm.
4 hours. So like 2 a.m. He pops in the middle of nowhere. But some yeshivas it's like a half hour. Like they have the curfew and lights out. So make sure it's quiet for 10 minutes, and then you go back to maybe if you wake up in the middle of the night or something, you'll walk around again or
Mhm.
feel to stay out. But that's probably why they want to do the job because the whole day they're free. They don't tell them what to do, and then at night they have to deal with the with the pain of dealing with bachman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really more of like an awareness, and if you can't deal with it, then don't make it.
So
Is
you
that
don't
a
have a
good line?
solution?
If you can't deal with if you can't deal with it, don't make it.
So Shmuly, you don't have a solution?
What do you mean? I don't know what. The Hollies to take it more seriously, because what are these? I mean, I don't really know what they can do. Honestly, you're supposed to tell the bacher out, but I think this happens more. I don't know what it's like in the no, but the modern shivas, there's like the bacher. Most of them, if not all of them, are like anyways Vildikite, but there's like what I was in that balance where most of the bacher were Vild, but like some people like
Can I?
me like want
Yeah.
the quiet. I just want the simple dorm vibe.
Can I suggest a solution?
But yeah, we'll go ahead.
This is a much bigger and broader solution, and this is basically the outcome and consequence when you don't teach how to be a mensch and to be a mensch. Not exactly chassidish, be a mensch in schools. This is the consequence. You have bachrim that are, not on time. Okay, the main thing is that bachrim who don't care about other, obviously, basic obviously, not caring about other bachrim sleep. And basic responsibility. If you don't go to sleep on time, you're going to be tired the next day. And also, being making annoying the dorm counselor. By the way, there was I try not to give any hints of who it was, but there was a point where students made the dorm counselor cry, and it was not easy to make him cry. Okay, like that is insane. So this is all consequence of not teaching how important it is to be a mensch. Derech eretz kadmon Torah. So it's not a specific solution. I believe it's a more broader solution. I don't think there's any. There are quick, specific solutions, but that's not going to fix the root of the problem. The root of the problem is a lack of derech eretz, a lack of being a mensch, and that is something that takes time, effort, and patience, and got to start much earlier. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's not being taught. Even if it is being taught, it's not enough. And some parts are not even being taught.
Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes they
exactly.
wait till it's too late. Why should you assume positive? Like they assume positive at the wrong time and assume negative at the wrong time. So it's really backwards. Like when it comes to tests, they assume negative. When it comes to other things, it's like they assume positive unless otherwise.
Which things they assume
Like we're
positive?
talking about dorms right now. Like they assume
Oh,
that things are more or
everything's
less okay. I
okay.
mean, it's not perfect, but it's more or less
Yeah,
okay. But really, Bachrim
yeah,
like me or certain dorms are just crying and quiet. Say crying out
yeah.
loud, but like crying and quiet, like in their heads. Like I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. I want to relax. I don't even have my phone. I just want to go straight to sleep. And like I can like wait till you guys are quiet and who knows what. Like I just simple
Hmm.
basics. If I'm going to sleep early, that's my problem. But if I'm going to sleep on time, even a half hour later, you shouldn't be making noise.
Yeah.
Really,
Is there
really hard
something
to
more you wanted to say
understand.
about dorms?
I don't know. I think it's just more of awareness type of thing. There's nothing really much to
Yeah.
like change. I mean, no, it should be changed, but it's also one of the things if you can't either, whatever. It's a really
It's
hard
both.
balance when
I
it
mean,
comes to
it's awareness
dorms.
for everyone, especially for parents. Parents should be aware what's going on in yeshivas, and everyone could benefit. Yeah, the students themselves should wake up, and teachers and everyone, the principal. I'm not just asking you because I want to just end up with the story, and I leave it to the
Yeah,
end.
go ahead.
I mean, it would be nice if actually to start off this way, but it came to my mind now because we're going with the flow. Very, very sharp, powerful story. Um, so I don't remember the details of the story. I remember the point of the story. Something about how I'm trying to remember how it started. Basically,